It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, and we got a lot to do. We're responding to the angriest comments. So I'll get into that in a second. But really, what I want to do, the overall purpose of this stream, is to just kind of pull back the curtain on what's happening with the code, and in light of the big announcement recently. So basically, I'm starting to stream. So if you're seeing this, either the replay on base_Thomas or live, maybe, I'm going to try to stream weekly every Tuesday with some sort of content, not just, gaming, but I might be live at other times to do that. And that will be, all the content will happen on base_Thomas YouTube. And then at the same time streamed on Twitch, and Twitch will also be live more for more informal stuff if I feel like it, whenever I feel like it. So yeah, that's where we're at. It's 2026, new year, new me, new channel. So before I talk about any of the comments, or where we're at, the reason we're doing this is so I can show off how the software actually works, how the Francis and Frederick reinforcement learning AIs have come to be. And it's really simple. It's become simpler and simpler the more work I've put into it. So here's my desktop. Today we're going to train, we have a few options, but I've chosen to train demo men. And I'll get into more of why, because I know that's not super exciting. It's just another class, but we will talk about that and everything else. But we have to get it started because it just kind of takes a while to run. So here's the process. I start this TF2 dedicated server icon on my desktop. That starts my source mod enabled server with everything I need on it. And then I'm also going to launch TF2 so that I can join the server and we can see what's happening. Oh shit, I totally forgot to turn off the music. Gamercules, come on, man. I know you don't mean that. All right. Sorry about the music. I haven't tested the I haven't tested the YouTube yet. But I have it set up so Twitch, you can hear my music, but it doesn't get saved to the VOD. And then because YouTube works differently, YouTube will just not get any music at all. But I haven't tested it, and YouTube is very annoying about, what's it called? Copyright. Yeah, I hope you're doing well, man. Been a minute. Yeah, so I'm just showing off my my code for training reinforcement learning agents in TF2. Okay, there's one engineer in there. That's not correct. I do have a command for this though. So basically we sit and wait for all 32 bots to join the server. Just gonna hide my GUI. This is our custom training map. Just nice and flat, pretty mountains. Shouts out to Colorado. And once we have everyone joined in, I'm going to run things from this Python console. What are you doing at this hour not sleep? It's 9 p.m., bro. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so we have all 32 bots in the server. And now all I have to do is run this command, which is, it's probably small on your screen, or actually it's probably cut off. So it just says Python, run this Python file. We're going to set the number of agents to 32. I'm going to, oh, this is wrong. I'm just going to load some stuff. Or save some stuff under the right name so that I can reference it properly later. Let's just say demo. Actually, pipes. Pipe 0. And then this is all we need. So basically this Python script will automatically communicate with the server. The background is white, so you're not going to be able to see it. Oh. There's no way it's not working. No fucking way. This is the most classic shit ever, bro. I've never had a problem with this shit running. And now what? Did I just not press enter? I just didn't press enter. Oh, there we go. So you can see it communicated between, this is the source mod server, and this is the Python window that's kind of corralling everything. And it takes a few seconds to load everything, but you'll see in a second, the bots will start their random training routine. So we can have a look at that. It's basically going to run 100, I have it set to run 100 times, completely random, and that's to initialize the buffer, initialize, like warm up the network, a bunch of stuff that I don't even really fully understand, but you can save buffers from previous runs and load them if you want to skip this step. And yeah, so this is kind of what it looks like. It does automatically now set the time scale to 2, at least I believe. Hold on. Host time scale. Yep, okay. Yeah, so it's relatively user friendly. The only problem is it takes a long ass time to run, so I'll go ahead and show this. So it's on trial number 10 right now. It's got to run 100 times just to finish the random, and then it's got to run another 1,100 times or so to finish this this training run. And feel free to ask questions, guys. I'm just kind of yapping. Well, it's 1 a.m. here, waiting for dinner to digest. Nice, nice. Why do people take YouTube comments too seriously? Yeah, no, totally. I'll be honest with you guys. My title is clickbait. Like, yeah, we're gonna talk about the angry comments, but mostly I'm just gonna go and respond to all of the interesting comments on the YouTube video. But yeah, no, people do get very confident. We're gonna go through it actually. I'm excited because it's fun for you guys to kind of get that extra deeper look at like what's happening, but it's not worth it for me to like type all this shit out. So I'm just going to kind of run through it quick. But yeah, like I said, I'm just showing off how the software actually works so that, you know, you guys can see exactly what you see is what you get. And hopefully by the end of this, we have some working demo men. I've actually not tested the demo men yet. And in fact, I trained a scout 1v1, and I also tried to train a soldier direct hit 1v1 off stream, and those are not as impressive to watch, and I'll kind of talk about that too, I guess at the end, because I do need to stay in the server while it runs. I can't show a demo. Yeah, so right now, like I said, it's running 100 steps of random. Whenever this gets to trial 100, then it'll start actually learning. So we'll try to check back in on that. But yeah, big schedule today. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I was having some trouble getting the YouTube to run. But yeah, if you didn't hear, the plan is to stream every Tuesday this year, except for the first 3 Tuesdays I think I missed. Yeah, so I'm just trying to get in the habit and also give you guys like a consistent time window-ish of what I'm doing. AI to rain casual. Yep, that's gonna happen. So yeah, one of the things I wanted to talk about, we can either start with the comments or we can start just talking about like what's next. Actually, I think it's probably better if I just start talking about what's kind of next up the pipeline so you guys have an idea. So yeah, I mean, I would love the end game is pretty obvious, I think, to everyone. It's like have them play pros, have them play real people and learn in real time, have them, you know, play on a team, the AIs, like, you know, lots of stuff. But it takes a fair bit of work to get from what we have right now to what, you know, is needed technically for that stuff to happen. So, the answer is yes, I want to do all of it to everything, but we have to kind of build it up incrementally, step by step. And I know I haven't made any content really in like a month and a half, maybe 2 months. But I actually have not. I've been taking a little micro break from TF2, or I mean, it was a real break, but where most people / careers would take a break and stop working on anything, I was like, oh, I just don't want to work on TF2 stuff anymore. So I started a brand new machine learning project, and I'm excited. I'm really excited about that one, but I can't share anything yet. But yeah, so I've been I haven't gotten that much done on the TF2, but now I've gotten back into it in the last week or so. I'm just gonna work on it a little bit each week, get somewhere, have something new to show off, and then we can do the fun stuff along the way. It just has to be built up from where it's at. My mouth is really dry. I need to get better at streaming too. Like it's a skill like anything else. I'm God's strongest reinforcement learning agent. Like I gotta learn through experience too, build up my streaming muscles. So yeah, we got another 35 trials or so before the random is done, so I can talk about what I want to work on next. So you guys might have noticed all of my training so far is 1v1s, and they're all the same class. So it's Demo Man versus Demo Man, or it's Huntsman Sniper versus Huntsman Sniper, or Scout versus Scout. So that's the first hurdle, and probably what I will be attacking first. Because as soon as it'd be better if I showed you guys, but I didn't record it ahead of time. Like I said, I can't exit this server, unfortunately, or it'll get all screwy. NG versus NG, yeah, everything. So that one is relatively easy to fix. As far as these technical things go, all I have to do is write a custom training loop, which sounds worse than it is, in Python, and basically just split the data packs into 2 different brains, basically. So it would be like Scout versus Soldier, I really want to see. Or Scout, lots of people wanted to see Pyro versus Soldier. I wanted to do all that. So first I have to figure out how to split them. That one I was trying to get done for today, and I was working on it up through yesterday. But it just takes time to, you have to write it, and then you have to research it first, then you have to write it, then you have to test it. So I just didn't think I could get it tested and built in time, but most likely next week. So that's the first hurdle. Then the second hurdle is figuring out timing issues. So certain matchups, I'll give you an example. Demo Man versus Scout. Their weapons basically fire at the same time. It's like, I think Demo shoots every 40 frames, and Scout shoots every 42 or so. So that's not exactly even, but it's like only 2 frames of advantage is not that big a deal. So ones like those, I can very easily make them work, and I actually have a whole list. I did some research off stream on what the primary weapon timings are. So there's a few that are just easy. And then if I go back to my example of Scout versus Soldier, a Scout takes 3/4 of the time to shoot that a Soldier does. So there's a few ways we could fix that, but it's more technically demanding. But that's probably what will be next. And then after that, that's probably as far as I have it planned out, because the whole point of this streaming thing is that you guys can influence it and interact, and we'll kind of figure out what to work on together. So here you can see the trainer just finished the random steps, and now they're acting very strange, because this is like baby's first steps, basically. So the first trial, they just stood still. The second trial, they walked to the left. Now they're starting to walk in different directions, which means they're starting to learn from the the different localized data. Wait, are they shooting pipes like stupid fast? This is timescale 2. No, that looks normal for timescale 2. Yeah, so that unfortunately it gets less and less exciting the longer the training goes, because by design it slows down. So it's the most explorative and the most it's the most highly variable at the very start of training. That's when it changes the most. And by the end of it, you want it to stay stable and not forget all the stuff it learned at the beginning. So the learning rate, which is what it's called, slows down. I noticed the game sped up. Would it hurt if you sped it up like 10 times? The hard limit in source is host timescale 2. That's twice the speed. If I'm sure there's some hacky way you could get that higher, but I haven't worked much with the engine. And also I don't know if that would affect, like, at a certain point, because obviously Valve can code their limits wherever they want them. So Valve clamped it at 2, probably because any faster it starts to fuck up, like, floating point errors and whatnot. So yeah, it would help. It would go faster, but there's no easy way to do it, and it's not worth giving up any reliability. So, but what we would do to speed this up, to scale this up, is basically, one, there's only 32 bots running right now. Also, it's not a dumb question. Feel free to ask any questions you guys have. I'm just here to hang out. This is not super... in the future, I'll have, like, maybe more, like, super straight to the point focused content, like we're trying to do this challenge or something like that. But for this first week, I'm just sort of chatting, hanging out. I'll make a video out of the highlights and just play by ear almost. But what was I saying? So the first thing is only 32 bots are running right now, and the hard limit of players in TF2 is 100. So it is technically possible to triple the speed by filling that out to it would be 98 bots. In practice, it's a little bit more difficult because more bots means more lag, which means you need a faster server. And Shunik has a great video on his YouTube about how it's like single-threaded, also how SourceMod's single-threaded or some shit. So the CPU speed on the server matters a lot. There's also issues like object limit. Again, this is something Shunik covered really well on his YouTube video. But that's the theoretical limit. 2x timescale, 98 bots per server. And then you would just have to start spinning up more servers and, having a good, reliable way to collect all that data and not let it get out of sync or whatever. So there is lots of optimization, but it's unfortunately not as simple as just going 10x speed. But yeah, so this other reinforcement learning project I mentioned that I was working on, the non-TF2 one, the new one that's secret, that one is a fully simulated environment. And what's funny is I thought it was going to be like so much faster to run that one because it's not running in TF2. But it's still slow. Like reinforcement learning is still like a very intensive, even running on CUDA cores, even, pretty optimized. It still is like this purely virtual simulated environment I'm running on for this other project. It's still like an hour for each run minimum. Like hour 2, you get better results up to like 4 hours, 8 hours. So the shit is just slow. The technology is just kind of slow. Yep, that guy, Yosh, I think. Yeah, dude, that work is crazy because he doesn't even really let on how difficult. He doesn't complain as much as I do about reinforcement learning. Yeah, speeding it up absolutely helps the process. For me, it's kind of an interesting scenario too, where I am trying to learn about reinforcement learning at the same time. So I do sacrifice a lot of progress. Like you can restart, let's say you train soldiers for an hour. You can save the finished policy, the trained policy. You can save it. You can save the buffer, the optim all the pieces that you would need to save to restart from that point, basically. So, but for most of the time I've been working on these projects, I restart from zero each time, and that's because I'm trying to understand, what this hyperparameter does, what this different reward function does. So I definitely have sacrificed a good bit of training progress for learning, but that also helps too, because these, like, reinforcement learning in general is very prone to just getting stuck. So you can train it 10 times as long, but like what that means is, like, if you trained it 10 times as long and got it to do 2 times as well, like, that's huge. That's a huge deal. It's not 1-to-1, and it gets exponential too. So you can think about all the processing power that it takes to get a bot to like 90% effectiveness. And for me, that's for TF2 deathmatch, it's probably 12 hours or so of real-time training gets you to about 90% performance. It takes even more effort to get from 90% performance to 99% performance. And then even more, 99% to 99.9% performance. Unless it figures out a strategy that humans don't do, like, it can only ever be just as good, just almost about as good as humans. Again, provided it doesn't figure out. It depends on the task, okay? So I can't generalize, but it can't shoot rockets in this scenario. It can't shoot rockets faster than a human can shoot rockets. In fact, it's actually about 2 frames slower, I think, on average. In the game, you can just hold down mouse click, and it'll shoot every like 53 to 55 seconds, the stock rocket launcher. But for safety, because reinforcement learning really hates it when a rocket just gets missed randomly, it shoots every 55. So it's on the upper limit of that. Also, you can see, while I've just been yapping a little bit, we're not even that deep into the run. Only 60 trials of learning so far. It's already starting to hit its targets. You can see there's some explosions. Not a ton, but we'll watch it evolve slowly. So, yeah, just to put a cap on this whole discussion about speed, the way this can actually work so far, and so far has been working, so you're not losing a ton of speed, is we're running all 32 of these bots at the same time, and they're all learning. They're all contributing to the learning. They're all contributing their experience, and then the learning of the brain. There's just one brain, one network, and it will it'll learn from all of them at once. So basically, we're parallelizing the slow environment that is TF2. Yeah. For GPT, we'll have ads. Oh, geez. Yeah, that sounds awful. It's like, I've been watching a lot of Futurama recently. I don't know if you guys know that show. But it's like they have ads playing in your dreams. That's what it sounds like. Like, that's basically the real life version of that, is your chatbot induced psychosis is the ads are just beamed directly into your brain. All right, I think that's all I wanted to talk about with the technical stuff. You guys can still ask questions if you want. But yeah, so there's tons of fun stuff we can do. A month ago, yeah, ad rev is what will support the fucking bubble. That's funny. Because, yeah, ad rev is like my least, the least efficient form of income for me, I would say. On YouTube, it's like I lose 80% of the ad rev for what it's worth. For advertisers pay like, if what advertisers pay is 100%, I get like 20% of that. So yeah, shout outs to the Patreon. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about with tech stuff. We're going to check back in on this. Here, I'll show this is the Python window. You can see it's doing these epochs. Basically, an epoch is one training step and then one testing step. And the training step is like it has more exploration noise, so the policy can learn from different stuff. And then test is like, okay, what's the best possible policy? No exploration noise. And then from that helps to train that does something called a backwards pass on the network that basically makes it smarter. So right now it's going to run for 100 epochs. You can see we're on number 8 already. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's super improving yet, but usually this is more reliable. This is the TF2 feedback, not the Python, because this one has rounding on it. You can see our best score is this in trial 167, and we're on 184. So it's chugging along. It's learning. And then just as a point of reference, Francis, I believe, was trained for like 400 epochs. So this won't be, fully up to Francis's standards by the end of it. But it'll be maybe 70% there, I'm hoping. Unless there's another issue. I have not run this demo training setup yet. So there were issues with the Scout one at first. There were issues with the direct hit one that I haven't solved yet. So maybe it'll fuck up. But we'll see some sort of improvement. I'm confident of that. All right. How long? I think the direct hit one took 3 hours, but this one should be like 2 hours because it's a faster firing rate, I think. But in the background, basically, while I talk about comments. Here, so give me a second to pull it up. And we're just going to go through, now that I've given kind of this context about, big picture, or at least not big picture, but like what I'm planning on the next few weeks. Until they get good, exactly. So given that context, we're going to go through the comments from all the TF2 videos, and that's, I think, about a year's worth of comments. So some of these might have already been addressed, but I don't know. It's kind of nice for me too, because I'm sure I read them at some point, but it's nice for me to kind of get an idea of what you guys want to see, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So how should I do this? There's a way to look at all my comments for all my videos, but I think might be better just to go video by video. Can you respond to this? No, I can't. All right. Okay, here we are. So, I got a bunch of videos, obviously, but there's at some point in the future, I actually think it would be fun to go back and do like a watching my old videos moment, because it's been a while. I mean, this is 4 years, 5 years. I guess it's not as long as I thought. Wow, only 5 years ago for my first video. Weird. I thought it was more. Yeah, but so that'll be sometime in the future. I think when I have no other content planned, we'll go through and watch my old content. But for now, we're gonna start. We're just gonna do these 3 videos about TF2. starting the saga with this this video. The temptation to watch it again and do like director's commentary is there, but I don't think I will. Hold on. All right. So in this video, the title is, if you can't read it, I built a deep learning AI in TF2. And I basically wasn't going to make this video at first. This is like my first, this is like the first foray into building reinforcement learning in TF2. So this first task, if you haven't seen this video, I do recommend you should watch it because it bangs, you know, like all my videos. But yeah, it's only 8 minutes, and it's the task it's trained to do is just a single action. So unlike what we have now with these guys where they're acting in real time, back then in this first video, it was just a one-time thing. It was, can you hit the flying soldier, basically. And yeah, I'm not gonna respond to every single comment, just the interesting ones and the negative ones, because that's how my brain's wired. But yeah, I don't know how long it'll take, and I also don't know how long the TF2 the demo training will go. So, but I have alternate, I have backup plans, I have contingencies. So yeah, without any further ado, let's read what my haters think. You're gonna be seeing this a lot. Here, actually, I should zoom in, right, so you guys can see better. I'm good at streaming. I know what the people want. A lot of people, for whatever reason, believe that I look like Mr. Beast. And honestly, I don't see it. Like, I mean, we both have mustaches, and we're both white guys. Like, I understand that. You were thinking that? Okay, maybe it's just a me thing, or maybe it's a me being white thing, where it's like, you know, white people say, or, you know, people who aren't white say that white people all look the same, but obviously white people don't think that. Anyway, he's got a dark mustache. I've got a blonde mustache. It's different. It's blonde. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna get that out of the way because there are lots of comments about how I look like fucking Mr. Beast. Like Hitler. Oh my god. Oh well, Mr. Beast is only slightly worse, so I guess I can relate. Okay. Shout out to Bringus Studios. Now, deep learn AI sniping. Is that something you guys actually want? Do we actually want to see AI sniper rifle? Because, I mean, once I get this shit figured out, the technical stuff I talked about, I can do that pretty easily. I'm underrated, yep. Make a target bot strafe. Yep, they still can't strafe. It is funny that 3 videos later, I still haven't actually wrote the way to make them strafe. Bro is single-handedly making the bot problem worse. It's true. I'm Hitler. People have been saying it. People have been saying I look like Hitler. Yeah, there's a lot of this. I mean, I don't know if I should respond to every single one of it because there's a lot of these. Honestly, fewer of these type of than I would think. Some clanker lovers. Who, me? I'm scared. Did these two people share the same brain cell? Why did they type like the same exact thing? Not me. The haters. Wouldn't they be Clanker haters though? Because I'm like a Clanker champion almost, or like a Clank father. I don't know. If they set that Android free, it will be the end of all of us. This guy put more exclamation points, but also more letters. Huh. Wow, this is so fascinating immediately, guys. Aren't you glad that we're going through looking at all these comments? I already found something I didn't even think I would. Windows File Explorer is ass. I think they're talking about the errors I had in this video. The bots. Better error shots than me. There were a few people who kind of missed the concept of the video, because I did explain this, that yes, you could be just doing the math and finding the answer the right way. And in fact, I think this is partly my fault for how I packaged it. I actually do have another thumbnail idea that I want to try out for this. But I mean, the key thing about this is not that it can hit air shots. Okay, well, cool, whatever. It learned how to hit the air shots. I didn't tell it how to. I just said getting the rocket closer is better and hitting them is better. How did you make Python program and TF2 server interact? I explained that in the video. It's just a socket. Huntsman snipers. Yep, host timescale. At the time, it wasn't working. Until recently, if you did host timescale and set it to 2, it would actually change the crouch timings. The crouch timings wouldn't change, so you would actually have 2 steps running while the bot was crouching through it, basically. Not that tech-savvy type of person says thank you to ChatGPT. Honestly, I mean, maybe a year ago I would have made fun of you for that, but I interacted with ChatGPT recently, and it was like, it gave me attitude. I was like, damn, I don't want to get snapped at, so maybe I'll be nicer to it. Yeah, this guy gets it. Shout out to this guy. Wow, it being able to adapt to completely different weapons really sets it apart from a more algorithmic approach where you just predict the arc of your target. Well done. Hey, thanks, man. That's nice. At around 0.38, he shows the dedicated server thing. Please, someone explain how. I've looked all over the internet and it's just hopless. I don't know what he's talking about. Let's see what's at 38 seconds.
What you're seeing is the result of months of work building a deep reinforcement learning platform for Team Fortress 2. Using this platform, I've trained a bot that not only has perfect airshot accuracy, but does so nearly blind. It has no concept of TF2, gravity, or even time. It only knows how to hit sick air shots. And that's just scratching the
You guys can hear the
surface
audio
of
in
what's
this video,
possible.
right?
But before we talk more about that, let's first get an appreciation for how we got here. Using Source Mod, a mod system for Source, I'm running a dedicated server with a bunch of custom shit. First, a plugin to...
So this guy was just confused about what a dedicated server is? That's what he Googled? Whatever, I explained it in the video. If you guys want to see it, I do recommend. It's a good video. But I'm not going to watch the whole thing. GitHub, open source, TF2 bots. Here we go. We got an angry guy. Angry guy detected. Do not. How did he wait, I didn't realize you could do formatting in YouTube comments. He bolded and italicized it. Is it like markup? Is it like a underscore and asterisk, or how do you do that? imagine being this mad, but then still taking the time to like, to format it perfectly. Please do. He doesn't say please. Do not do this for PvP games, especially not TF2. TF2 is already dying as it is because of constant cheaters. There are plenty of other 3D games you can train AIs on. Yeah, man, I don't know about all that. That do not in GLaDOS voice. Oh, yeah. Do not. I don't know if there's a way to... I gotta work on my GLaDOS impression. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna fault this person too much because they care about TF2 and they're not like insulting me. Like, it's not like I fully reject this point of view. I mean, I think he missed the part in the video where I explained that it's a server-sided mod, so you can't join someone else's server. It has to be set up. TF2 is already dying because of constant cheaters. Again, this is not cheating. This is a server mod. And yeah, there are plenty of other 3D games I could train on, but the reason I'm doing TF2 is because I really enjoy TF2. Since before I even had a YouTube channel, I just really wanted to teach AI to rocket jump. Like, I just always thought about it because I love rocket jumping. And then, oh my, there's more. Holy shit, they had a full-on Twitter moment in the comments. Did you know code can be repurposed? I get that you're probably a midwit. It's kind of a legendary insult because I've never heard of that. I thought it was nitwit. But this is like people who are like not quite stupid enough to be nitwits, but they're just like, like your average like garden variety stupid. Like you're a midwit. You're not even noteworthy enough to be fully stupid. You're just fucking middling intelligence. I kind of love that. I think I might start saying that. Okay. I think this guy's right, but he's being a huge fucking asshole. Lear at ZN, you're in the wrong, and more than that, you're incredibly uninformed. Like, Jesus, man. Like, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it like that. Using machine learning is of itself meaningless. This is kind of philosophical. This is kind of philosophical. No, I mean, yeah, this guy's right, but he's being a huge dick. Cool. I love the internet. This would be cool if we weren't having bot issues. Don't give those fuckers ideas. Yeah, I mean, this is an opinion I hear all the time. And I can't, again, I'm not just going to be like, you're wrong, I'm right. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I recognize that this is a potential downside of working on this type of stuff, like giving them ideas or whatever. But like, again, we have to remember what is the purpose of the Lamau box and whatever else that people use, the griefer bots. What's the point? They want to annoy people. They want to kill people. Like, there's no more efficient way to kill people than just instant headshots. So, any of my technology that they adopt, until it becomes like as good as humans, which again, we're not close to, it doesn't like, it would only be making it less annoying and more fun to fight against, Yeah, I mean, kind of one of the overarching things about angry comments is that people do like to take very like black and white takes, but I try not to do that, and I get called a fence sitter and a centrist. Yeah, and it's trauma, and that trauma is legit. Like everyone is completely within their rights to feel how they feel about AI. And especially within TF2. Like, that trauma is real, man. I love TF2. I hated that I never really played casual that much. I was always more into rocket jumping or watching comp. But you know, I hated that it was getting so shit on by these bots and making it unplayable. You know, so that's real. The thing is, you have to blame the right source, though. And I think maybe this is part of a larger conversation too. But like, people are like, I hate AI, I hate AI. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't hate AI as a concept. You hate that corporations are using it to suck like all the joy out of life and all the money out of the middle class. Like, you know, let's blame the right thing here, because AI, as much as it is used to shovel slop into our mouths, who's actually perpetrating that? Not me. I'm using AI to do cool ass shit like rocket jump. Like, really important, guys. It's really important work that I'm working on here. We're getting them to speed shot. It's more important. Yeah. So like, I don't fault anyone as long as you're being respectful. Like, this guy's fine. He's concerned about TF2, but you know, it's a common opinion, and I think it's like they're gonna try to fuck people over no matter what. And I don't see how this directly helps them do that when they can already just instantly kill people and hack. Like, these aren't hacks. Oh, lots of debate. I'm not going to read it all. Hope this won't lead to casual. I just talked about that. It was in the video. Lots of positive people too. I like this one, I guess. I just really like the way he said, hell yeah. Hell yeah. God will not forgive you. Thanks. Yep. Okay, there you go. That's video number 1. So, of course, you guys can't really see. I'm too zoomed in. But so that was the first video in the series. It got 25,000 views, and that was 120 comments. The next 2 videos, 1,000 comments, and this one even with like almost a tenth of the views, got 600 comments. Yeah, unfortunately there are more unhinged comments that I remember deleting, basically because they were just so like schizo, like made me uncomfortable to read, basically. So I kind of wish I hadn't, now that I'm doing this on stream, because that was the real unhinged shit. Here you guys can see 25,000 views, 120 comments or so. But yeah, let's jump into the next one. So this next video in the series, I hope everyone in the chat has seen it because it's my best work. But it's this video, AI learns to rocket jump. And in it, I basically scale up what we saw from the last video from a one single action reinforcement learning agent to a real-time reinforcement learning agent. And actually, speaking of, let's see how our demo men are doing. Wow, they're kind of doing okay. Hold on, let's see. We're on trial 353. It PB'd relatively recently. We're on epoch 23. But yeah, I can definitely see that they're better. They're mostly looking towards each other all the time. They start with random aim, and you can see they're missing a lot, but they're generally pointed at each other. So to me, that's great news. That means it is learning. It will, or it should be able to start achieving better results. But still, you know, obviously, clearly, it's still quite stupid. It's also aiming too low, I think. I wonder if that's something I did. So it's getting there. It's getting there. Anyway. Oh man, my mouth is too dry. I'm out of water already. I'll do a little bit and then I'll get some water. So yeah, in this video, I think since then my latest video is better technically than this, but this concept is just so sick. This video concept, learning to rocket jump is awesome, and then the it sucks in the thumbnail, I think, is just killer. But anyway, should I sort by newest top comments? Yeah, let's do that. So we'll basically start with the good stuff and then work our way down to the dregs of society. So we'll start from like the most positive people to the worst. So I haven't seen any of these. You don't actually, on YouTube Studio, you don't actually get notified of like responses to a comment, which I think is for the best. That would be awful if it wasn't. So would there be a way to put an actual player in the test chamber and have the AI learn from the player as well as its environment? Yes, totally possible. In fact, probably a good idea. It just takes, I have to build that functionality though. I think the problem is you design the model poorly. It would make more sense to let them know the map exists. Yeah, not technically wrong, but you're also completely ignoring the amount of work that it'll take to represent the map. And that's the biggest issue. Vanilla bots being skilled players. Yeah, that's another idea. I won't talk too much on it right now because I'm sure there's other commenters, but people, especially in the newer comments from the newer video, people are like, oh, it'd be so cool to like train against this to get good at MGE using this AI model. And I agree. So this guy compliments me. Adding citations, good for you. And this guy goes out of his way to at this guy and say, actually, I checked. Actually, I checked. And, he seems to have left all the ones that weren't free royale out of what does free royale mean? That aren't free royale out of the list. For example, the DNB ones are still unlisted. No, all the videos and all the music is in there. It just people were having trouble finding one song, I think. You guys add a reward for completing levels faster. Yes, and I think that would be cool. But it comes with reinforcement learning. It's all about balancing, basically. So if you're incentivizing faster completion more, you might also be forgetting or making it harder to learn the base behavior. Okay. Grayman, MVM. Yep, MVM's another idea I hear a lot and is a great idea, and I will be doing at some point in the future, but got to build it up. Wait, what is this guy talking about? Oh, is that why we haven't got a new update? We've been using them as a glorified casino for years now. Obviously, he's going to try to bring his best to the front. Emphasis on front. Is he talking about lore? Or is he talking about Valve? Gotta sleep. All right, man. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. I don't know what this guy's talking about. I hate robots. True. I like this guy's comment. I remember it. They can't see the wall. Yeah, take care, legendary. Or Legenducky. That's a fun name. They can't see the wall, so they can only remember what coordinates stop them from progressing in a certain direction, which changes the network to activate a different set of nodes. Well, not a different set of nodes, but yeah, different activations. If they never figure out what set of nodes activating at the right time improves the reward function, they'll never try repeating it, so they could stumble into it a few times but not get enough reward from doing it poorly. It's the ultimate blind maze game. Yeah, do you guys see how he was like losing us the whole time, just talking about blah, 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 blah. It's the ultimate blind maze game, and just sucks you back in. Excellent comment. Good job. Good work, son. Biggest problem with reinforcement learning is low peaks. Yep, generally I agree. Agree with this guy. This made me feel human. I like that. Skill issue. Shout out to this guy. I think a lot of people on YouTube, especially when your video starts to get more popular, like you get more people who don't really know or care what you're about. And so they click in the video, they don't actually watch it. So I do appreciate that this guy commented and it got upvoted, because I think otherwise a lot of people would be like saying this. Still plenty of people were like, oh, you just suck at reinforcement learning. It doesn't actually suck. You just suck. It's like, bro, you don't even know. You so clearly do not know what you're talking about. Shout out to this guy, though. Okay, got it. This was another semi-common one. Doesn't use the MVM robot mode. Arrow key doesn't type like green text. 4chan. Yeah, I think on my, it's kind of funny that it kind of was an accident. Like it wasn't like I planned, oh, I'm not gonna use the MVM robot model for this. It was more that I needed a way to do the color gradient thing that you see in the thumbnail, the color slicing, I call it color gradient. And there just happened to be a mod that I found that had like, it was like a white base layer. It was like it changed all the blue team, I think, to be white. And that was really helpful for making the colors stand out. But then the more I think about it, it's like, no, I think stylistically I kind of fuck with it being like the human model instead of the MVM robot, because these aren't robots in the traditional sense. And you know, everyone talks about AI. Like my point is, AI is just such a huge, broad term. Everyone says, this is AI, that's AI. We've been calling shit AI since Metal Gear 1, bro. Like, whenever video games had an opponent that was a computer opponent. I don't actually know the history. But, you know, we call that AI. We call ChatGPT AI. We call everything gets called AI. And it's like, at a certain point, it's like a meaningless term. Like, it doesn't... What is it actually referring to? Anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying, I think, you know, it's a learning thing. So I think it makes sense for it to look like a human who also learns. I mean, that's kind of the fun thing about it. And no spoilers, but I have another idea, probably maybe even for the next video, that is going to use the MVM robot model. I won't say any more than that. Can't wait to get market gardened in the next spot wave. I can only hope. We can only dream. I can only hope so. Literally the first thought. Here we go. We're finally getting to some of the more feisty commenters. Everyone's been so positive. Yuck. Whatever. Literally the first thing I thought about was, why the hell are you not punishing the bots for shooting rockets that do not propel them whatsoever? I mean, you could punish them. You could punish them for shooting rockets that don't propel them. And what would happen is, or what could happen is, because nothing's guaranteed, is you're essentially punishing them for shooting rockets, period. And if they're getting punished for shooting rockets and they never see that shooting rockets in the right place is good, then it'll be disincentivized to even try rocket jumping. This is a classic example of people trying to make it sound simple without actually knowing what the fuck the dynamics are. So yeah, you could do that. And in fact, I actually did test a version of my code where there was a propulsion bonus. And I did it for the pogo, and I also did it for a wall climb level. And honestly, surprisingly, because I actually thought it would work, it really didn't help the training much. It's if you think about how it's being applied, it's basically a point discontinuity, which is a fancy way of saying it's not a smooth function. It doesn't have a smooth curve, and that matters because that means there's a discontinuity at the derivative. I tried to dumb it down, but I think those are the correct words to use. So basically, it's like jolting the reward function, and it's not a smooth curve. So the algorithm doesn't really understand how to get over that spike. So it's a lot more complicated than some people realize. Because you can do this, but you have to design the reward well, and that's actually not as simple as one would hope. Came here to watch AI learn to rocket jump, not get a life lesson. He baited me. I thought he was going to say something mean. Oh, my camera died. It says the temp's too high. All right, there we go. I'm back. So yeah, the last time I streamed, I was having battery issues with my camera because the battery was like taking a long time to charge. So since then, I actually bought the wall adapter basically. So it's like a fake battery that plugs basically directly into the wall. So that problem's fixed, but then I just forgot to turn the fan on. Anyway, where were we? This guy burst into tears. I see a lot of people too, and even more so in person, because I actually took this project to open source. Oh wait, hold on. Gotta remember to turn the music off. So yeah, I actually took this project to open source 2024, and yeah, I got to talk to a lot of people, and more people than I expected were like, holy crap, you made a AI that can rocket jump better than I ever can. And that makes me I'll be honest, it makes me a little sad, because it's like, first of all, this guy's not good. This what did I fucking call him? Frederick. This Frederick bozo is not that good at rocket jumping. Okay, he's fucking stupid. I pretty much guarantee that anyone who's played TF2 before could learn to rocket jump and beat those levels faster than Francis can learn, even with all of his, robot advantages. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I just believe in yourself, people. See, this guy gets it. AI will never replace pro rocket jumpers. Probably not. I mean, maybe there's a chance, but yeah. Open source, life lessons. Okay, here we go. This isn't a negative comment, or it doesn't seem like a negative comment, but someone getting into the weeds. That's what the point is. I probably should go faster. I realize there's like 1,000 comments here. I get that reinforcement relies on letting the AI relies on letting the AI do its thing till the goal is completed, but evidently the bots need not just more freedom or less freedom to accomplish goals. They need a way to understand the environment they're in. Aside from the problem of implementing it, the code needs to reflect some way of understanding what they're doing. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe they just need actual eyes. Yeah, maybe. I thought that comment was going to be more controversial than it was. I don't think you're wrong, but I can only imagine this increases the complexity and computing power. It does, but it's doable. It's not like, oh my god, it's so unbelievably difficult or takes such an unbelievable amount of processing power. It's more that it takes an unbelievable amount of time to troubleshoot all of those layers, because there are like vision models that you could just slap on there. There's stuff you can do that exists, but it's just going to be slow, and it's going to make your results more inconclusive, basically. shout out to this guy. He said, I worked with RL before and it's so annoying. True. That is fact checked by real American patriots. And I already see the problem with your method. There's like 20 different ways you could reward the bots, like max height. So why did you choose go up? And why is there no penalty for not shooting rockets or inefficiently shooting rockets? Listen, man, I don't even need to click on the timestamp. I know exactly what he's talking about. Just read this again with me, okay? I see the problem with your method. There's like 20 different ways. There's 20 different ways you can reward the bots, like max height. So why did you choose go up? I don't know what he's talking. I mean, I guess he could be talking about when I said going up, as in a height value. It's almost like that's exactly what I did reward the bots with. Well, and why does this get 15 upvotes? Like, do people not read? Do they just want to dogpile and the one negative voice in the crowd? Like, I don't understand it. There's like 20 different ways you could reward the bots, like max height. So why did you choose max height? What, brother? I did. What are you talking about? This is fucking. You're fucking AI hallucinating in real life. You're doing the ChatGPT thing, but you're a human. That's embarrassing, bro. If you guys want to see what a properly AI trained entity can do, so he's throwing shade. What about my AI is not properly trained? Okay, maybe he didn't go to an Ivy League school, but he learned stuff. He's proper. I encourage to look at a video of sign lizards from the game Rain World. It's all machine learning down to the animation. So he's basically saying, here's what if you guys want to see a properly trained AI, but he's talking about something that's not even machine learning. What is this back and forth? I don't want to read it. Yeah, it's just people going back and forth. Let's see, I think this guy's just trying to throw out suggestions. So I'm not going to read it out loud. Yeah, I mean, I think this guy's probably mostly on the right track, but it's not worth getting into. It's all semantics. At a certain point, it doesn't actually matter what I try, as long as like what you try isn't as important as the fact as trying different things and seeing how they improve. Like one single thing is not going to improve your bot by crazy unless it's like, I don't know, unless it's something that it's missing. Coded in Python. Actually, I mean, it's written in Python, but it runs as fast as C, the library backend. Oh, here we go. In my unprofessional... Okay, I won't be that mean to this guy. I thought he said, in my professional opinion. In my unprofessional opinion, you need to tune the genetic part of the algorithm. Stop. There is no genetic part of the algorithm. You're thinking of a genetic algorithm. In fact, I probably commented this. You're thinking of a genetic algorithm. This is reinforcement learning. The former is pretty much just glorified brute force learning. RL operates in a completely different way. Yeah, that's true. A bit of a simplification, but dark truth clickbait. That's called genetic learning, and there's a reason why I lost popularity. This guy gets it. And then people freaked out because I guess they thought that I was, by saying the genetic algorithm is raw brute force, I was equating all of evolution to raw brute force, which honestly it is, but it works because it's, there's billions of people on the planet, more, trillions of organisms or quadrillions. I don't know how many. I don't work with AI, but here's my AI opinion. I think it would improve greatly with larger input data sets. Maybe. I don't know about greatly. I did just read a paper about that where it said it helps, but it's not like amazing. No, but this guy's right. He's just... I do really appreciate this sort of thing, like these comments, because this is kind of how I get a sense for how people interpret my video. So it's like, you know, I've been in the hyperbaric time chamber, like learning, reinforcement learning, and understanding all these concepts and then putting them into code. But then I show it to someone, they kind of get all that at once. So this is like, you know, I like these comments where people are just kind of putting their thoughts down and reasoning through it. So he's just talking about some specifics. But all this being said, I have no idea how to actually give a bot that context. It's a few very abstract concepts that need to be boiled down to numbers. Exactly. That's kind of the fun of it to me, actually. The design part is like, how do we represent this environment? But it has to be numbers, you know, it's all just numbers. So what's the fewest numbers you can do that has the most info, or what's the easiest, best numbers for the AI to learn from? You know, it goes very deep. It's fun. Pretty much these inputs can be extracted from the engine. I mean, yeah, it can be extracted. Are you going to do it? Yeah, this guy has an interesting point that I also want to explore. Wonder if you could teach the AI to rocket jump in a way that's agnostic of the specific problem rather than learning each level from scratch. Yeah, in fact, that was something I still want to do where, because for this video, basically, it was 5 different levels, and they learned each level individually. Now that that's all set up, it wouldn't be that hard to randomize them between, you know, all 5 of those levels and have them learn all of them at the same time. The only thing in the way of that is I would want to have some sort of like geometry sensing inputs that I haven't developed yet. I still don't, and that's, you know, that's something I can probably pretty confidently say the code is going towards. You know, someday there's no way I won't want to make it, you know, work on maps, because the potential for fun stuff has just become so much higher. But it's one of the bigger technical challenges is how do we take a map and bake it down into an input tensor that isn't ridiculous. Not give necessary inputs, necessary spelled incorrectly. Not have computing power. Why stupid robot no work? I mean, I'll give them the not computing power. When I did do this video, I still had the AMD card, which doesn't have CUDA cores. But I mean, it's not like I have CUDA cores now, and it's not like it's that much faster. Like, it's faster, but it's still slow. Like, it didn't take a slow thing and turn it to a fast thing. It's just a slightly less slow training now. But I take exception to this not give necessary inputs. Again, deciding which inputs need to go in is more of an art than a science at this point. And I'm not saying I'm an artist, but I'm certainly not a scientist. And you're walking this tightrope between too much data, too much noise, and not enough, you know, clarity on what's happening in the environment. And I still think what I did was good. The only thing really missing is just the map geometry. But that was kind of the fun of it too, is the like that other commenter said, the blind maze box, or the ultimate blind maze game. Let's Let's check in on our training robot. Let's see, he's PB'd actually this frame, so that's good. That means he's continuing to learn. We can see, it looks like he's hitting more pills on target now. Still missing a lot, and hitting the feet too, at least. So that's good. That's all good. That's all what we want. Yeah, a few more explosions. It's not hitting every shot yet, but like I said, even once this whole 100 epochs is done, which currently it's only on epoch 44, even when it's done all 100, it'll still be a quarter of the time that I trained Francis. So he's not going to be amazing, but he's clearly getting better, and that's the key thing. Seeing how much tweaking it takes for the bots to work, it makes you think about how impressive the human brain is. Yeah, no, I agree. I wish more people kind of saw this and felt this way, because it's like, it's really fun for me, because I work on this stuff, and it's like a very simplified way to learn. And actually, by learning about how robots learn, I'm also learning how I learn, how humans learn, because you're kind of getting into the weeds. So it's cool. The human brain really is like so fucking impressive. We're so much smarter than these robots. That's why I hate when people are like, oh, it's better than me, it's better than I could ever be. I'm like, that's just not true. You just don't care enough to practice rocket jumping. That's different. That's not a can't, that's a won't. Let's see. I think this guy's just yapping about AI in general. The main problem is we put AI into humans' world expecting it will act like a human. Map is designed for humans, and blah blah. Oh my god. I think he's right. I don't feel like reading the rest of it. I'm sure he cooked. Intuition really is the key. Facts. That's facts. The fact that effectively none of the stated issues would show up for a genetic algorithm shows how much better they are. Oh my goodness. Holy shit. We've reached peak delusion, everybody. None of the stated issues would show up for a genetic algorithm. Let me stop you right there. What's the number one issue? Speed. Speed of not even speed of the environment, speed of the computation, speed of the convergence. Guess what? Genetic algorithm is so much worse than reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning converges so quick. Genetic algorithm does not even like guarantee that it's going to converge. That's ridiculous. None of the stated issues would show up for a genetic algorithm. I've used a genetic algorithm. In fact, my previous video, hold on, how many more comments do I have? So many more. I'll come back to it. In fact, this video, can AI beat me in my own game? I really got to work on the thumbnail for this one, because it's a sick video, but the thumbnail is just not good at all, especially compared to my other ones. But anyway, in this video, I had made this game, this bow golf game before, and I set it up with a genetic algorithm. This is genetic algorithm. And it's basically dog shit. Like, you can see from the thumbnail a little bit, the goal of the game is shooting a bow and arrow to get to the target. And basically the AI, or the genetic algorithm, would just random number generate, and then whichever one of the creatures got closest was just like, that's the right one, good job. Yeah, so it just gets exponentially worse the more complicated the task gets. It's not even comparable. But that was another kind of common theme. I had a lot of people in these comments confidently talking about how I should do this, but they're talking about genetic algorithm stuff. They're talking about, oh, save the best generation. It's like, brother, there are no generations. It's a tensor. It's a network. It's not, there's no creature. There's no, So I actually have a great idea, and probably my next big video is going to be directly comparing reinforcement learning, genetic algorithm, and one more secret one that you could probably guess if you're really on the ball, because I mentioned it earlier. Let's see, we were somewhere around here. This video explained AI in 5 minutes better than teacher at my university did in 2 years. Hell yeah. That's awesome. That might be my favorite comment, because that's, that's what I want, is like learning, like getting lectured at university. I think is just such a shitty way to learn. It's so annoying. I could never pay attention in class. I genuinely never did. So yeah, it's like, well, I put in the work to build this thing, and now it actually all makes sense to me, and it's not that complicated. I can explain it pretty simple, because it is relatively simple. Not the implementation, like the actual vector math and all the bullshit. I don't know what's going on with that. I just know how the system works. I've got an idea for another video. Here we go. Coding AI to become friendlies. They only use holiday punch, give sandwiches, and stun and taunt kill enemies. Well, that'd be fun. The genuine problem with that, with trying to make an AI that taunt kills people, is you really have to baby it. Like, you have to develop your reward function to really babysit it all the way to aiming in the right place. Because it takes so long to shoot, and because it's like such a small cone, the detection cone for the taunt kill, it falls under something called sparse reward, which makes it harder for the reinforcement learning agent to figure it out. But it's possible. I mean, that'd be fun. Add it to the list. I don't know. Bunch of boring positive comments. No one cares. No one cares that you're so positive. I mean, thank you. Again, there are 1,000 comments here, so I'm skimming through. I'm looking just for the interesting ones. Not that I do appreciate everyone who's commented. LSTM reinforcement learning based models might work similar to AlphaStar, which can chain together simple actions into a series of more complicated actions. Well, yes and no. LSTM is a type of, or it stands for long short-term memory. Basically, it's a network layer that you can use. So basically, a layer you can use in the neural network, which is what decides the actions, and it gives your AI a bit more of a memory, which you would think is always better, but in practice it adds more parameters to tune. And these levels I did in this video are pretty simple. They don't really require a memory of any sort. You just move towards the target area. Now for like a more complicated level, like I can think of like a rocket sync. For something like that, an LSTM could be really useful. But I don't know, it just takes, you got to implement it and then you got to test it, just like everything else. I made this guy relapse on TF2. Whoops. Sorry, guy. Every AI video is so emotional, I guess. Again, lots of mostly positive comments. Boring. What is this guy saying? I wonder if you could make it so the reward per run is compared to the reward of all your other runs, and you give an extra incentive, and if the reward stagnates, go back to the previous highest reward change. I think he's talking about something that's more like genetic algorithm, where it saves like iterations of creatures, so-called creatures they're called. But I mean, this idea does exist in reinforcement learning. I think it's called, actually I don't know what it's called, but it's like hot restarting from a checkpoint if your reward decays too much. But it's not quite the same thing, and it doesn't guaranteed work. It's just gives your program more chances to not fuck up. Lots of people with suggestions for how to make a better reward function. And honestly, I mean, they're all on the right track, but again, it's the way it's actually implemented matters a lot more. I was wondering if you could maybe combine RL and supervised learning to nudge the model in the right direction. In fact, you can, and in fact, I think that is the current meta on how to train an AI as effectively as possible. You start with a supervised learning, or really a behavioral cloning from human data, and then reinforcement learn train on top of that. So it gets even better. Using nav mesh, yeah, maybe. Lots of people, yeah, ideas about pogo jumping, but really the issue there is that the bot just doesn't have as much clarity on the geometry of the level as it should. Yeah, this guy's talking about imitation learning, like I just said. You could do that, definitely. How many more comments are there? Seems like level 5 is a hard exploration problem. Even though conceptually it's simple, if the next poke goes slightly off, the reward signal won't propagate. Reducing the action space can help like you try, but also you need to design the reward function better so it can discover the precise moment to pogo. Yes, you've actually completely nailed it. Good job, random commenter. Yeah, it's just a hard exploration program, and you have to design the reward to not only, work at, when they know how to pogo, like, velocity towards the target, but not too much. It has to work for a fully trained policy, it has to work for a half-trained policy, and it has to work for a completely untrained policy. And that's kind of the tricky thing about designing a reward function. The behavior, the reward function has to work smoothly no matter what behavior the agent has learned. That's the tricky part. Because you can have it reward, wall pogoing, but if it can't get into a wall pogo or even a regular pogo, it doesn't matter how well you design that part of the reward function. It's not a well-designed reward function because it can't get there. Oh, here we go. I love, it's going to be a good comment when someone starts with technically. Technically, it's still discrete as you are still dealing with bits, and floating point numbers still have fixed steps of incrementation because of this. Continuous would only work when you're using an analog computer where the values have no fixed intervals, and the values aren't sampled/created at intervals. Wow, this guy went all in just to like not even be correct. I mean, yeah, technically floating point numbers are, increment, but that doesn't suddenly change the way this reinforcement learning algorithm, which is a continuously valued algorithm, it doesn't suddenly change that to discrete. The way they work from a reinforcement learning standpoint is still completely different. So literally this guy's just being like, actually, hold on, he's doing the Jimmy Neutron thing. Hold on, I have to find it because this is exactly what he's doing. Hold on. Jimmy Neutron sodium chloride. Hold on. Have you guys seen this? Were my Jimmy Neutron fans in the chat? I used to fuck with this show heavy. I mean, I still do, but this is basically what that guy did.
Big McThankies from McSpankies. Hey, dude, you missed a spot.
I got it. Just a little sodium chloride.
Actually, dude, it's salt.
That's what I said. Sodium chloride.
Actually, it's still discrete because the floating point is still discretized at the compiler level. At the low level, direct to metal, it's actually still a discrete value, so everything you're saying is wrong.
Dude.
Dude. No.
Salt. If you don't know what salt is, maybe mop duty's too complicated for you. What size are you? Small?
Yeah, why? If you want cheap food with taste, put McSpank.
Wait, this isn't the clip. He goes off on him.
What I said, sodium chloride.
Dude, that would be salt. If you don't know what salt is, maybe mop duty's too complicated for you. What size are you? Small?
Yeah, why? If you want cheap food with...
What? No, there was another... Oh my god. It's ruined. Maybe I saw a edited version of the meme. Cause he fucking says other shit. He's like, actually... Is it this one?
I got it. Just a little sodium chloride.
Actually, dude, it's salt.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, dude, you said sodium chloride.
Oh, it was a meme. This is what I'm thinking of. I thought this was in the actual show. Anyway, this is what that commenter was doing.
Salt.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, dude, you said sodium chloride. Yeah, it's the same as salt, but you could have just said salt instead.
Well,
everyone in this town knows you're the boy genius, dude. You don't need to say these overly large words to sound more intelligent. The fact of the matter is that nobody really cares how smart you are. If anything, calling simplistic objects by their scientific name ironically makes you seem less intelligent. In fact, this isn't even just sodium chloride.
What is this overlay?
The
fucking traffic.
Salt includes anti-caking agents and potassium iodate, which is added to prevent iodine deficiency. So not only are you being overly pretentious by insisting on using scientific terminology for everyday items, you're just factually wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ski.
Listen, Jimmy, sorry, you go about Jimmy,
yeah.
right, yeah.
Alright, what is... Alright, you get the idea. I think they use the AI voice for that, too. Shoutouts to this guy. Technically, like, he's not even right. Like, he's like, okay, yes, technically we can say the values are still discrete, but the algorithm is not discrete. nav meshes. Come on, where are the angry people, man? I was promised my angriest commentators. Where are they? Everyone's being so wholesome. How does your method of training work? Do you use generationally evolving neural networks? No. Because the first glaring about the instability, from my lived experience, you're always going to copy the most successful individual over to prevent this instability. No, that's also wrong. Even if I was using generational evolving neural networks, you don't want that to happen. Because actually what that does is it reduces the genetic diversity in your gene pool, and that will handicap long-term performance. So actually, I mean, quite a lot of people were like, oh, I was talking about how it's unstable and how the reinforcement learning agent will sometimes forget how to do what it was doing before. And people are like, oh, we'll just save the best generation. So, one, I'm not using a generational algorithm, so that doesn't even apply. But even if it did, it's actually really interesting. You would think, oh, I'll just save the best creature. But actually what you're doing is you're completely wiping out the variation in the gene pool. You're subverting Mother Nature by picking and choosing who gets to live, and why am I struggling to speak? And handicapping your long-term growth potential because there's no surface to learn on. It's all the generations are the same every time. They all stick around that one saved creature, and they never learn how to do better. Because sometimes you have to get worse at something to get better at it. You have to, be bad at something before you can be good at it. But again, I'm going to do a video probably next where I talk about that in more detail, because it is fascinating stuff. And I think no shade to Code Bullet, but obviously he was, my forefather, the forefather of this type of content. AI learns to do X, and it's not his fault. I mean, everything still continues to this day to be called AI, but we do need to make a distinction between genetic learning and evolving neural networks and reinforcement learning, which is pretty much just way better in every way. But yeah, because Code Bullet pretty much exclusively did genetic algorithm. There were a few, I think he did have a few videos. There was one, like the Donkey Kong video, where he tried a few different methods. But yeah, so I think most of the YouTube consciousness currently comes at it from the perspective of genetic, when that's not really what's going on. I like that. I don't remember responding to most of these. This guy says, bro, please make a video about the code and how you were getting data from the game. I did. It's the video before this. I literally did that. Should have covered your optimizer. It's Adam. Whether you use priority experience replay, I did. You're also using an online model, it seems. No, it's off policy. Also, no temperature detailed for exploration versus exploitation. I said it was TD3, which has explicitly a noise generation thing for exploration. So there you go. Yeah. I mean, okay, I guess he got me on the first 2 points, but completely wrong on the second 2. Yep. This is funny. So maybe there's a reason why you haven't done it. I don't know what that reason would be, but I would think this issue would be relatively easily fixed. If you were simply to give it eyes, that would help. Yeah, man, if I just could give it eyes like that, I'm sure that would help. If you could just have a human eyes and then, I don't know, some way to process that visual signal, maybe like a human brain too, and all the synapses, it probably would be way better. Huh, I never thought about it. Thanks, man. I never thought about that. Thanks, man. Yeah. Your bots have a very strong tendency to go to the left, which is weird because it really doesn't help. I think your reward function might be buggy. No, in fact, it's kind of funny that someone noticed that. They did tend to go to the left, but also they tended to go to the center of the wall, basically. And sometimes it was the right wall too, but I think in the video it just ended up being the footage was all them going to the left side. But yeah, no, it wasn't the reward function. It's just they pick a side, basically, because if they're even just 1 degree off on the aim, they're going to all go to the left or all go to the right. Like just one, you know, it's not a huge difference when they're just 1 degree angle to the left versus the right. But the difference looks big because they end up in one corner versus the other. AI doesn't suck when it's the right program for the job and you know how to optimize it. Okay, I agree with that. Look at Virtual. He taught an AI to drive Trackmania. Stop. Virtual did not train the AI, bro. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Yosh or you're talking about the other one, Linesight. And Virtual didn't train either of those. So immediately you've just lost all your credibility, even though it looks like he's being positive the rest of the comment. I don't know, man. People just... misinformation just spreads like fucking wildfire. Like, I think Virtual made a video about the AIs. He didn't fucking train them. I'm currently watching this while training a reinforcement level bot to play single player Diablo 2. Interesting. I have decent success, but sometimes it feels like there's no rhyme or reason to what the fuck the bot is doing or learning. Yup. The amount of architectures I've tried purely relies on vision is insane. I still could not really tell you how a training run would perform if I change stuff before the result comes in. Especially if you start tinkering with the loss function and have multiple terms in it. Yeah, shout out to this guy. I could tell all my real soldiers in the chat, all the people who have actually tried reinforcement learning are all just like, yeah, it fucking sucks. Every single one of them is like, yeah, this shit is fucking annoying. And then all the people who don't know anything about reinforcement learning are like, why didn't you just do this in the reward term? It's really simple. You just need to do this in the reward term. But hear me out. Can you teach AI to surf? Yes. And that's all I'll say. AI doesn't suck. Your parameters do. Basically, an analogy is parenting. Sometimes it's the kid. Sometimes it's the parent. Sometimes it's the environment. The best AI engineers understand those three while understanding the psychology of the kids. Okay, I thought he was going to be meaner. AI doesn't suck, your parameters do. No, I mean, suck is a relative term. because it's better than a genetic algorithm, but it's still sucks to use even if you are an AI engineer. And that doesn't change no matter how much better you get it, because guess what? It's a black box. You give it the best possible parameters, it'll still find every way possible to fail before it succeeds. I would love to see an AI expert's take on what sort of techniques can be used to improve the performance of this AI. I mean, we do have AI experts. We have so many AI experts. Haven't you been reading these comments, man? Everyone and their mother is an AI expert, and they just give away their takes for free. We already got it, bro. You could do a host time scale. Yeah, I did. You're right, RL is a piece of ellipse. But first of all, TD3 is not state-of-the-art. SAC could lead to a better result on average. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. TD3 is kind of state-of-the-art, except for the entropy term. But, I mean, it can get... TD3 is easier to get state-of-the-art results than SAC. Because with SAC, you have to train the entropy term, and that's its own problem. And then by having more entropy in the model, you're making it train slower because there's more variety, which is better for long term, but slower. So in general, I mean, this is another case of like, you're technically correct, but in practical terms, you're actually wrong. And in fact, he goes on to say, secondly, PPO is much more stable. Better use PPO. PPO is state of the art. Listen, man, I tried PPO. PPO is more stable, and you don't get that for free. Like, I think the biggest thing people don't understand is that every action has a trade-off. There's not just just make it better and it'll be better. Like, you can up to a certain point, but past that point of performance, you're giving up something else. So for PPO is state-of-the-art, or gets the best state-of-the-art performance, and that's because of how stable it is. And what it trades off for that stability is a very, very slow convergence rate. So it learns way fucking slower because of that stability. So and we live in the real world, there are real, constraints. I have one GPU. I'm only running one thing at a time, even though I guess I could run more. So in practical terms, this is bad advice, because nothing exists in a vacuum. You have to consider the advantages and disadvantages of each thing. And in any case, I tried PPO and it was just way worse per unit time. Like, I'm sure if I trained it long enough, it would eventually outperform TD3. But again, it's way slower. It doesn't suck. It's actually brilliant, but it's only as good as the person creating the rules and the structure for the reinforced learning. Yeah, I mean, I don't even disagree, but you're implying that I'm shit at it, which maybe I am. But I was never saying because I'm not successful, it doesn't suck. It sucks because it's fucking annoying to use. And I did get results with it. It beat 4 out of 5 levels. That's good enough for a B. That'll get you a degree at school. I'm not mad about it. Here we go. We got a ball knower, I think, in chat. I remember one of the funny things to occur for some AI projects I saw was they decided to off the AI and force it to restart at a previous stage before it all went wrong. I think that was what I was talking about before, the hot restarting or whatever, just to see if it actually fixed it. And most of the time, it won't. Programming the heuristic is hilariously difficult. That a large portion of RL research is all about how to ensure that the heuristic is functional, how to prove that it's necessary, consistent, correct. Yeah. Oh, someone responded to him, but then deleted their comment. Lol. Yeah, no, that guy knows what he's talking about. This is an interesting take. There's another project using genetic algorithm. Again, I'm not using genetic. I think RL is better for the dynamic environment. Meanwhile, genetic is better for a static environment. Yeah, possibly. That could definitely be true. I don't know for sure, but I mean, it makes sense. But I also think if the RL is set up correctly, it could probably outperform genetic in a static setting anyway. So. Pre-train them with videos from the internet. Conv networks are slow, but not that slow, and use PPO for FS. Yeah, again, I just explained why PPO is way slower. He's like, yeah, it's not that slow. Just fucking build an entirely new network, entirely new training methodology, and also download all the TF2 videos from the internet and, bin them for quality, and then train your AI on it. No, I don't think I want to do that, actually. Wall pogo? Potentially. Another person confusing it with genetic. Someone's trying to ask me out in the fucking comments for some reason. What's up with that? Like, yeah, man, let me just respond with my phone number in fucking YouTube comments. So these looks like these two people have a similar point where they're saying, well, they're saying like, not, us humans are a result of millions of years of evolution. Indeed. And that's why we're so good at our shit. Because I guess reality is just a way better simulator than even our most powerful, modern computers. People talk about like, what was it called? Alpha Star, the Dota 5v5 AI. I think it was Alpha Star. It's Alpha something. And people don't realize that to achieve those results, they literally trained it the equivalent of like, shit, I forgot. It was like several years per day, basically. They trained it for a total of 45,000 years. 45,000 years. That's how long they trained this AI. And they did that with like a huge network of like computers all running PPO, basically. So it took a fucking long ass time to get there. But yeah, again, I have a fun idea for comparing genetic and RL. Can't wait for that. This AI looks more like an overcomplicated search algorithm. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I wouldn't necessarily agree with the overcomplicated part, because the complication does serve a purpose, but yeah, no, it's a search algorithm. That's the main problem that RL runs into, is a search problem. It's all the way to, it's like that fucking astronaut meme. It's like, what do you mean it's all exploration versus exploration? What did I say? Exploration versus exploitation. And the other astronaut with the gun always has been. It is all the way down, bucko. Data science student, but for real, Rocket Jump is much better suited to supervised learning than reinforcement learning. Not that it is an easy problem to formulate for supervised either, but it's why most jumpers today need teachers to tell them to stop pressing W. Huh. Interesting. I think maybe a little too overconfident. I don't know if I can just take that opinion at face value, but I mean that it's better, like supervised learning is better suited to it. But I mean, supervised learning works. It does work. You could do it. This guy's angry, but not at me. RL is so inherently stupid. I don't see any real application for it that would be achieved more efficiently in any other way. I think the consensus is reinforcement learning is actually useful for like robotics, and that's about it. For in terms of actual useful practical stuff that it can do end to end, I think it's just robotics. But it's really like it's a universal function approximator, so you can really use it and just kind of stick it everywhere. I think people have this idea that RL is so amazing you can just kind of give it the info and it'll completely, it'll learn the whole complete complex behavior. But unless you're training it, years per day, like if you have, say, a $1 billion valuation, and your name is OpenAI, but without that, you want to have it learn as little as possible so that it learns quickly, and it can do stuff like because it's a universal function approximator. You can really just use it to attach anything to anything else. Efficiently, maybe not, but it works, and it definitely is not. I wouldn't call it stupid. It definitely exists for a reason, and it is pretty fucking cool in my opinion. This guy, I'm not gonna be mad at him because he's reasoning through it in the comment section, but he's saying the random position while training could make it less stable. Actually, funnily enough, it actually makes it more stable. The problem is if you have them all start in the exact same point every time, that lends itself to a problem called overfitting, where it like hyper trains on this one specific, configuration, but then it doesn't know how to do fucking anything else. It can't generalize at all. Versus if we start with random position, it actually can learn the relationships between, say, the angle and the position and where it wants to go to get more reward. I do not understand why you decided to slap on an arbitrary timeline for your project. With a little patience, you could have produced better results. You'd also have the data needed to prove your thesis. Listen, man. You really think I wasn't being patient when it took me 6 months to develop this? Not including the 6 months for the development for the previous video? Yes, the results will continue to get better, but how much better? Is it worth it? You have no way of knowing. Just overconfident chatters. What else is new? This guy's trying to unactually me, but someone's like, no, you're wrong. This guy, another ball knower. Tried implementing ML agents in my own game and failed spectacularly. Takes ages, it's very unpredictable, and I could have programmed it in about 20 lines of code. Yeah, man, story of my life. Yeah, no, this guy's a ball knower. That's the truth behind reinforcement learning. It is cool, but in like 99% of cases, if you know enough about your problem to know what kind of behavior you want, it's 99 times out of 100, it's worth it just to directly code that behavior than try to write this like reward function that is one step removed from that, you know. Like, you're just adding complication for the sake of science, which is fine. Science is cool. But for actual practical stuff, RL is not quite there yet. The takeaway that reinforcement learning sucks is insane. You had all kinds of skill issues throughout this video, and it's likely that them not learning to pogo is also a skill issue. You weren't even giving them more information on how from the floor. Like, in what world can you blame us on our the giant information to give lots? No, it's my gradient, sort of an actually real gradient. Duh. Honestly, this guy's not even, like, wrong. It's just he's so mad for no reason. Again, the reason I think RL sucks is because it's not user-friendly at all. And everything that is a skill issue, you're claiming is a skill issue, is also something that is not intuitive for users, even experienced users. Even now, me coming and talking about this 2 years later, since I started working on RL, it's still fucking annoying. Like, it's still, you have to know all the things that can go wrong and just be constantly searching for what issues are going to come up. So that's why it sucks, not because of the results, but because of how difficult it is to get the results that I got. Oh, that's it. This is the bottom of the comments. Oh, same guy. One comment wasn't enough for him. He's also mad about me saying, it's a bit disingenuous to say AI can only beat humans through sheer brute force. You probably took 14 to 16 years of compute power, unmatched by any NVIDIA card to even play TF2, never mind Rocket Jump. Is he talking about my brain? He's saying my brain needs 14 to 16 years of compute power to rocket jump? Bro, what? I have a maximum, I had like 3,000 hours in TF2. That's, off the top of my head, that's 160. That's like 4 years at most, if every single hour is needed to learn how to rocket jump. Like, your math's not even right. You're just literally exaggerating just to make yourself sound smarter. You probably took 14 to 16 years of compute power, unmatched by any NVIDIA card. Bro, you're just looking for reasons to be mad, bro. I still stand by this statement. AI can only beat humans through sheer brute force. I will add a caveat. They can also beat humans from just, better execution, like robotic execution, and also if the game has some sort of loophole that is either discovered by robots or only accessible to robots, it can also beat humans like that. But in an apples to apples comparison where there's not an inherent advantage for humans, it really needs brute force. It's not even close, apples to apples. It's not even 1% there. So it's a bit disingenuous to write this comment and act like what I'm saying is not true. You're grasping at straws, my man. And here we go, another guy. Is this really my first commenter? Or no, these are the bottom comments. Oh, so these are the most disliked comments, maybe? I don't know. Not really AI, same as all the other videos like this one. Well, I mean, like I said before, AI is a pretty general term. I think this does fall under the umbrella of AI, but whether it's intelligence or not is a subject of debate. All you're doing is letting the program have a billion different tries at it, and the successful ones will be iterated upon. Not quite. That's basically what genetic algorithms do. Also, it was 100. It's 2 orders of magnitude smaller than that. Or no, how many orders of magnitude? Fucking like 5 orders of magnitude smaller. It's not a billion tries. It was 100,000 tries. So let's see, million, 10 million, 100 million, billion. Yeah, 4 orders of magnitude off, bro. Come on. In the end, you have a program which will perfectly play the map it's been trained on. No, it's not perfect. It's not even that good. For any other environment it's not been trained on, it has zero clue on how to proceed, and you'll just have to go back to baby steps, do it all again. In my configuration, yeah, this is technically correct. But like I described earlier, there are ways to train it, especially with better inputs, like more eyes, more input features, like being able to see the map geometry. It totally can generalize. That's one of the things that reinforcement learning is actually good at, and one of the reasons that I would attribute it to a very basic form, all the way at the end, low intelligence, but still on that spectrum of somewhat intelligent, because it's more intelligent than a genetic algorithm. That's not intelligence, that's just a taskbot with extra steps. Yeah, whatever. I think most of these people are not 100% wrong. It's like there's like a little nugget of truth in what they're saying, and then they just like run with it, just like overconfidently sprint to a finish line that is not there. But yeah, that's all the comments on this video. Let's check on our bot. Oh, is it done? It must be done. It's not done. It must not be done. Okay, we're on epoch 80 or so. You can see it is still steadily improving. It PB'd in trial 858, and currently it's on 963. So that's pretty normal. The bots, they never really improve in a straight line, nor would you want them to, because if they're just improving on a straight line, again, there's that constant tension between, do you want more variety in experience and therefore richer data to pull from, or do you want hyper focus and improving but giving up that range of variety, which could, and in lots of cases does, negatively in fact impact the long-term learning. So it's all a balancing act. Here, actually, let me pull up, for the sake of going full circle, let me pull up the graph, and we'll have a look at how this plot is actually progressing. DM. I'm just changing the folder that it's pulling plots from right now. Alright, so this is all the plots. This is for a different video, so I gotta refresh the data. But this is a little TensorBoard dashboard, and it can help. It tells me, gives me some stats on what's going on. So let's see, let's find the current run, which is TD3 demo. Right, that's what I named it. Oh, pipes 0. Here we go, this one. So here's our current plots. So these three, whatever, they're static, they don't change. Now this graph looks incorrect, or not correct. Well, it looks incorrect because this is the reward for each test step, and you can see it's actually getting worse over time. Now, unfortunately, what that actually is that's the rounding, that's the normalization. So this is a new a new run. I haven't had a demo run saved before, so it's basically initializing the normalization from 0. So what normalization is it's instead of having your rewards range from, say, 0 to 1,000, high values actually fuck up the reinforcement learning algorithm. It can't handle high values. So what you do is you take your 0 to 1,000 reward and you normalize it, which means you take the average and you also find the standard deviation. And so that 0 to 1,000 becomes -1 to 1. Anyway, when you're running a brand new normalization, it will do that because it spikes really high. It has to get those high rewards first before it starts averaging it down. And the true test is looking in the TF2 console because it's not normalized there. And in fact, you can see it just PB'd in trial 983 and it's on 994 right now. So it's improving faster and faster. Unfortunately, I'm now realizing that I said I would show these graphs, but they're going the wrong direction. It's not actually showing you how it's improving because of the normalization. Maybe let me find one more where it actually is improving. Well, I think I-16. Oh. Whatever, you get the idea. This is more of the same, where it was normalized improperly first. What about this one? I don't know, whatever. I shouldn't have shown this because I forgot about the rounding thing. Kind of defeats the purpose of showing it. But yeah, anyway, it's getting there. You can see, you can even, I guess I can't scroll all the way up. But the best reward, it says, is about 13. And right now it's only getting values of 2.7, even though we can clearly see that it's shooting better than ever. Let's have a look. Yeah, they're pretty close. They're still not hitting every shot, but didn't expect them to. So yeah, and then once this is done, I can actually play, I can reload the trained model and fight him myself. Last month I did do a stream where we where I let people do 1v1s, and that was a lot of fun. But unfortunately I haven't worked on that. It was broken back then. It was like barely working. I got it working the day of my flight. So that will be returning to the stream at some point, hopefully sooner than later, but I haven't worked on it at all, so I'm not doing it tonight. It's still, people still randomly explode for some reason. Still really don't know why that was happening. Anyway, okay. So let's finish now. Now we're through the bulk of the comments with all the comments from my latest and possibly most controversial video so far. Basically the concept of this video, if you haven't seen it, and if you haven't seen it, you're missing out, by the way. But the concept was I adapted my rocket jumping AI to fight against itself in a 1v1, and then scaled that up. And then I also released the code to my Patreon members. So if you're watching this and you want access to the code, you can go and subscribe on Patreon to my genius tier. And yes, you do become a certified genius once you do that. I think Stephen Hawking sends you a DM or something like that. I don't know how you get whatever the lore accurate way to become a genius is. It really happens. Yeah, so that's what this video is about. It's mostly showing people fighting it at open source, which is a lot of fun, and then talking about kind of the bigger picture of like, why am I releasing this code even though there is a chance for abuse? Again, because that trauma is real for TF2 players, and I don't blame them. Let's have a look at the comments. Let's do it again, sort by top, and go from most positive to least positive. And also I'll talk about, like this, for example, I'll talk about what some of the ideas are in the future. Like training 2 teams of AI bots, each designed to master their own class and have them fight in a 9v9. That'd be fun. It's definitely more of an end game idea. There's a lot of technical work I have to do first, but we'll get there eventually. Now we need Scout. Well, I'm working on it. Scout, I think Scout Soldier is one of the things that I personally want to see the most. I think my most requested matchup is Soldier versus Pyro. And I want to do that too, but that one's a little bit more complicated because for that to be a fun kind of evolution to watch, you want them to be able to delay their shooting, basically. Because if both of them are updating at the same exact time, they're just like, the Pyro is always going to air blast and the Soldier's never going to get anything done. Cool game. TF2? Yeah, definitely. I really want to see a pro or someone with lots of MG experience. Yep, me too, but it's right now the bot would get totally embarrassed by Banny, so it's really not even worth showing it right now. Team Fortresses? Yeah, totally. No, I'm well, technically I'm not playing it, but my little robots are playing it right now. And so I'm reacting to comments on these videos about TF2, basically. I'm doing well. How are you? Hope you're doing well as well. So yeah, eventually a pro will definitely fight Banny, or even YouTubers, but I think he needs a little bit more first. I need to give him the ability to strafe first before anything else. But he's decent. He just won't. He's not better than actual pro players or even invite players. Seems like you started streaming hours ago. Yeah, it looks like I started streaming exactly 2.5 hours ago. This is my daily time? No, I'm streaming weekly for now. Every Tuesday at around this time, and maybe other bonus streams throughout the week as I feel so inclined. Sweet, thanks, man. Appreciate it. And then yeah, while we're talking about the stream, so I'm almost done. We're gonna make it through the comments of this video, and then we're gonna watch. We're finally going to watch the long-awaited return of Australian Lego Masters Season 2. I'm excited. I watched Season 1 like 2 months ago. Yes, I'm on YouTube too. There's no one in the chat right now, but I got both going at the same time. So that will be happening on Twitch because YouTube will get mad at me if I stream the TV show. So I'm going to end the YouTube stream whenever I'm done here with this, and then we're going to watch Lego Masters. It was a really fun time. There's some real legit characters on that show. Shout outs to Kale. Francis is one direct hit away from being unstoppable. Whatever you do, do not give the direct hit. Well, bad news, buddy, because I actually gave him the direct hit today, and I tried to train him. Unfortunately, I think it learned very poorly. Like currently, we can see the demo men. It keeps PBing actually. This is pretty typical, where at the end of the training it starts to improve way faster. But right now it's getting a overall best reward of 600 or so. When I ran the direct hit run, it was a maximum of like 300 average, which is quite bad. That means it basically didn't learn much at all. So And I think the reason for that with the direct hit was because of how fast the rockets go. It actually pings the position of the rocket each frame to keep track of how close it is to the target. And when the rocket is moving that fast, there's actually a huge inconsistency because it covers so much distance per tick. I have some aesthetically appealing ideas for the channel. You mean like branding, like images and stuff? That's fine. I mean, I'm not super worried about it, but obviously my channel is pretty bare bones right now. I like to be functional and not get too frilly. You can, if you want, you can join the Discord and post in there. I have a suggestions channel rather than trying to post them in Twitch chat. Yeah, but direct hit is working. I do know how I'm going to solve that issue. It just requires a little bit more math. My Discord should be linked below, and then I think I'm just Thomas in there. But just post in the suggestions channel. The Robin Walker Valve rocket launcher. Yes, that could be fun. Definitely could be fun. Yeah. There have been quite a few mentions of this AI soldier bot trained on market gardening people on Jump Academy. I actually have not played that against that bot myself. Maybe I should actually. Maybe that would be fun content for me to like directly compare, like trying to market garden Francis versus market gardening the Jump Academy bot and see who does better. Want to see Francis fight against Pyro. Like I said, this is probably my most requested matchup, and I'll have to do it too, but got to add the ability for them to like delay their shots or to have some sort of a custom custom decision on when to act. This guy wants to see if Scout, Medic, or Spy trained on real scenarios. Yeah, that'd be cool. Might be too difficult and time consuming though, and very likely the results won't be very impressive. Yeah, definitely likely, but it won't stop me from trying. Surprised nobody did heavy when it came down for shots. There were a few people who tried heavy actually. I just didn't show them in the video, but it didn't go much better. Another guy worried that I'm creating a bot crisis. Yeah. I think another idea for the rewards would have been train 2 models in parallel to constantly have to one-up each other. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Like with anything, because it just adds complication without necessarily a huge benefit, it's probably not worth it. But I made a note earlier in the stream, that's probably what I'm working on next, is figuring out how to split the parallel trainings. Instead of doing all 32 bots the same, I could do one team of 16 versus another team of 16 all doing a 1v1. So it would be like Demo versus Scout or Scout versus Soldier. Having 2 different models would allow 2 different things to learn. Now, I don't know if that would actually help if they were all just soldiers anyway, unless there's another something happening like a genetic algorithm on top of that to split the groups up, to make the groups different. Like there's no point if the groups are exactly the same. But yeah, definitely something that I'm going to work on more in the future. Insane how not one of those people did not even think of using their secondary. Well, first of all, you've double negatived. Huh. No, people did use their secondary, just isn't that good. The shotgun does not out-damage a rocket launcher. I need a 4 AI versus 4 humans. Yeah, the humans would probably sweep, but Eventually, the 4AI could be pretty decent. One of my first thoughts was air strafing. Literally none of them did air strafe. Yeah, this is probably my biggest regret about this video, because this is like the most obvious thing that I wasn't able to fix before getting to open source. Basically, their ability to aim came together in the one singular week before open source. And if you're not familiar, open source is like a big convention in San Francisco. I live in Colorado, so it's pretty far away to travel. And yeah, so I was working like nonstop that last 2 weeks. And the way I finally got it to aim well is actually a little bit hacky. Without getting too much into the weeds, it's like, because the bot movement is controlled by this other extension that I'm like hooking into, RC bot, it does an aim schedule very strangely, like a exponential, like a decay basically. And so what I did to get around that was I have it snap to the correct aim immediately, and then the RC bot takes control and puts it back where it was, and then does the exponential decay back to that initial aim angle. So it's a little hacky. I basically have it jump straight to the correct aim, and then it takes time for the extension to actually catch up. So anyway, that all came together the week before, and I wasn't able to put time into giving them a smooth way to aim. Basically, I hacked around it by giving them an instant aim, which helped a lot, actually. It helped them aim a lot better. But of course, in the real game, it takes time to travel your mouse, and you need a smooth curve to air strafe. But yeah, that's kind of the one blemish on this otherwise great video, because it's, I want to see it too. I'm a TF2 fan as well. Air strafing's part of the game, and yeah. But don't worry, we'll cover it in a future video. This guy. Here we go. Hey Thomas, great video, and I apologize in advance, but the gradient is for the maximum rate of change. I don't know, this isn't even worth me talking about. He's saying use the word directional derivative instead of gradient, even though they're nearly the same thing. Maybe he's right, I don't know. Semantics, I don't care. I would like to see complex reward functions that properly distill everything the bot needs to learn from the game. Me too, man. I would also like to see that, because it's not simple. If someone could just do it for me and it works great, that would be awesome. These people are... Where's the negativity, bro? These people are too wholesome. Yeah, this guy's right. Infinite ammo. The key to winning is blah blah blah, ammo management and strategy. Yeah, it's just more complexity, basically. The more freedom you give the bot, as a general rule, the more freedom you give the bot, the harder it is to train. The more learning you can kind of take off the shoulders of your bot, the better a time you're going to have with the training. But yeah, eventually. The fundamental problem with making any kind of soldier bot is that the rocket takes time to travel from point A to B, correct, and can't change course. So once the prediction's locked in, it's locked in correct. Sure, you could train a model that has experience with air strafing, but the fundamental problem remains. You can change direction even while strafing, or in other words, you aren't locked in. Simply wait for the sound of a rocket being fired, then you know the prediction is manifested. You merely change directions. Well, generally, this guy's correct. Generally, like, yeah, you can fight at a distance where you can always react to the rocket being fired. Definitely. Now, the problem with what he's saying is that that doesn't preclude the bot from being able to win still. If you're standing far enough away that you can dodge all their rockets, they're also standing exactly as far away it can also dodge. The other thing is that, yes, the prediction's locked in, but the AI also does have the capacity to predict your drift. So it's not like it couldn't learn how to hit you anyway. It's just, the prediction gets locked in, that's unavoidable. But the quality of that prediction can still be really good. And ultimately, at the end of the day, like, what are we humans doing differently? We're also predicting where people are going to end up, where we should shoot this rocket. So it's not, he's not wrong, but I think the conclusion he's hinting at is that it's never going to be good enough. I think it could be good enough. I think, everything that you could do, the bot could do nearly or even better. I mean, because again, it has a faster reaction rate than humans by a lot. So that means it should be able to pretty easily beat most humans once it gets to a certain level of skill. A lot of people, I feel like the audience for this video it must have hit a lot of TF2 people who didn't read or who didn't watch the whole video, because I got so many comments on this video about, what about this matchup? What about this matchup? Like, yeah, Short Circuit would beat it, but that's not what we were testing, bro. In fact, nobody was supposed to switch off Soldier, but it was because it happened to be so good anyway that I just let them, because I didn't care. It's literally driving me nuts. Like, come on, the rockets are always going to be aimed at you. It's driving me nuts. I have to see Pyro versus Francis. Well, don't worry, buddy. It's coming. Maybe in like a month or so. Love to see one of these bots play actual game modes. Yep, me too. That'd be cool. It just would take some working. Common thing you see beginner soldiers do: aim where the target was not going to. AoE damage is reliable, but direct will always mess with the target's aim and have to refocus. Custom MVM taught me a lot how bots love to toy with your mind with simple action. I don't know what this guy's talking about, but that's fine. Would like to see Kopi against the bot. Rest in peace. Congratulations, Base. This is the first ever video I watched while high. I very, very much underestimated those gummies. Oh, my sweet summer child. Oh, buddy. I mean, I like the content I create. I don't know if I would have recommended watching this your first time getting slammed on weed gummies. That is really funny. Shout out to that guy. Yep, Jump Academy bots. AI Saxton Hale versus a human competitive team. That'd be fun. Yeah, same issues where it's like I think again the hardest part of this is definitely how do we represent the map? How do we represent the map well without having to rely on computer vision, which is not great. But once that issue is solved, I mean, we could literally do anything with it. But easier said than done, of course. Different loadouts. Let's see, against invite players. Love these AI learning videos, but damn, people really do just tutorialize how to create cheat bots? Well, again, I believe that 99% of the time you get better results just hard coding the behavior you want anyway than using RL. So I don't really see that as valid, but maybe, I guess. I'm not going to say it could never happen, just I don't think it practically really matters. ML researcher, great work. Curious if you could reduce the field to a stationary plane between the AI and target. We don't need 3 dimensions. We can calculate positions from AI and a positive axis. This would considerably reduce the space of errors and may drastically improve training and performance. These are the kind of comments that I don't want to say I dislike it the most, because this guy's seems nice, but like, these are the most dangerous type of comments. I think that's a better way to say it, because it's someone who has experience. They said ML researcher here, great work. So they're establishing that they know some of what they're talking about, but then I don't think they actually know what they're talking about, because we do need 3 dimensions. We need 3 dimensions, bro. They can go in the air. And how do you think, like, this video is like 80% air shots, bro? How do you think we get air shots if we just ignore one of the dimensions? Calculate positions of each person, project onto a 2D plane, okay? Then feed in additional info of 3rd dimension velocity and acceleration. Once an inference is made, tool the projection back into 3D. Why? Well, this guy is suggesting a 4-step process that does exactly what I'm doing now, but with more steps. It's like, instead of having a 3rd dimension, instead put it into a separate info nugget and then tool it back into 3D space. Why? For what purpose? Jesus. Yeah, these are the most dangerous comments are people who are like almost there, like they know just enough, they know enough to explain it and seem correct, but actually they don't know it well enough to not have glaring issues in what they're saying. And then someone else who doesn't know what they're talking about, who's just reading the comments wanting to learn, is like, oh, ML researcher, oh yeah, just do this. I mean, this comment is fairly tame, but I see it all the time. This is like the type of thing where it's like, when someone's so close to being right but they're still wrong, I just feel like that that gets people who don't know. So I feel like even more of a responsibility to be like, no, well, listen, bro, you're actually incorrect. Okay, now have it fight actual MMI players. Yep, eventually, soon, hopefully. Pyromane. AI isn't going anywhere. That's going to age badly. I think this comment's going to age badly, bro. I don't know where AI is going to go, but I don't think it's going away. Not anytime soon. Now imagine a sibling and his name is Roger. Roger. I like the name Roger. I was doing a thing where I was using first name starting with F for no real reason, just kind of randomly because I liked Frederick and then Francis. But Roger is a contender. I fuck with Roger. It's nice to hear that Francis was fun to fight. Gives me hope that we can revive dead games with fun AI to fight. This was actually this was one of the few opinions that I actually did not consider before posting the video. So this is one of the things that like the community like told me about the possibility of. I didn't even think about like dead games. You can just have realistic artificial intelligence bots like to play it. I don't know. It's an interesting idea. I never really thought about that before. Obviously, I think the bigger problem for dead games is that their companies will stop, having servers for them. But luckily, that doesn't seem to be an issue with TF2, at least for the time being. Bot Crisis is if it was good. think a pro soldier with man-tread and direct hit has the best chance to win. Maybe. I'd pay to see that. Pyro. Yep. See a pyro. Lots of people want the pyro. Pyro versus soldier is going to happen. Just takes a little doing. Yep. What if you use Demonite against him? There's literally Demonite against him in the video. Give the AI an acceleration functionality so it can airstrafe and perform other actions requiring continuous movement. Yes, indeed. Now the question is, how do you actually do that? It can get complicated. So do I really want to give it acceleration values, or do I want to give it a target aim? My gut says giving it a target aim where it kind of does its own smoothing, you know, and interpolates. Something like that is going to be a lot better than a lot easier to train than abstracting it to a second level derivative that acceleration would be. But yeah, no, that's planned. A decent projectile aimbot cheater with auto strafe would be way better than this bot, and spin bots are way more destructive, so I feel like releasing this won't do much anyway, even if someone makes it work outside of custom servers. Auto strafe. I don't know what auto strafe is, but I guess I don't disagree. The more consistent updates require a dynamic reward process to direct behavior with action priority. So for example, while reloading, try to avoid damage. Well, yes and no. Oops, I didn't mean to reply. Yes and no. I mean, having a quote-unquote dynamic reward process is just another avenue for more issues to come up. Now, executed perfectly, yeah, it could help. I mean, if there really is that many clearly identifiable, you got to prioritize this more than that. But for the rocket jumping and for the death match, it's always just like more damage is better, and closer to the goal is better. Okay, maybe not, less so for the rocket jump, but for death match, it's like the priorities don't change that much, and you're just introducing more failure points. He says changing the multiplier to a variable that moves based on action priority should maximize behavioral consistency. Actually, it would do the opposite, but you could, get your fingers in there and try to have a little more control. It could work. I don't think it's worth the amount of effort to develop it. Demoman next would be cool. Hey, this guy at Gus Birdie, if you're watching right now, your dream has come true. Oh, it's done. So its final PB was 633 in trial. About 23 trials ago. So pretty recent. So that's good. It's clearly improving. It just needs more time. Let me finish running through these comments because I think we're almost done, and then I will load the finished demo policy and we'll see what it ended up with. MVM win. Play against the bot. Yep. Pyro. Yep. Challenge Shunik. Yeah, if he's down. Why no one tries to airstrafe? Yep. Talked about in the video. I want to fight Francis. Yep. We'll do it, but not this week. you give him a direct hit, the world will be cooked. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I think I mean, yeah, like I said, my biggest regret is definitely the lack of air strafing, because I think that's what really would convince people that this shit is like crazy cool, because it can predict, it would predict the strafing direction. Basically, it's more so that I just couldn't get it working in time to give him the experience to even try to attempt that. Should have limited the reaction time of the AI. Yeah, I think I probably should have, but I just wanted it to win. And again, this all came together like the week before open source, so I didn't have that much time to like make it clean. But again, this was never going to be an apples to apples human versus AI thing. That requires like its own video basically, which I want to do. But there's so many differences between how AI works and how humans work that you have to do a lot of setup to make them comparable. So the AI was going to win anyway. I just wanted it to hit air shots. Real men versus machine. Another thing I found interesting is Francis doesn't aimbot. He can still miss due to human unpredictability. Yeah, indeed. In fact, it doesn't even need human unpredictability. He just misses. Like he's probably, if I had to guess, like a 90% hit rate. Not even 99. Like actually 90 is probably a little generous. It could be closer to 80 or 85. But yeah, it's not deterministic. Like it's not a guaranteed he'll always aim in the right spot. Like plenty of times, even in the footage in this video, he's just like aiming completely somewhere else for a shot and then snaps back and then kills them. He's far from perfect. And in fact, the closer you get to perfection, this is part of what I was saying earlier, the closer you get to perfection, the more hours and training and processing power it takes just to move that slightly little bit higher. It's asymptotic. That's the math word for it. It never quite gets to 100%. When it comes to stuff like this, you can't think like you normally do facing other people. Humans are infinitely adaptable to each other's actions and reactions. Bots, even trained ones, only think a certain way and only operate in a certain set of parameters. You can learn and exploit them. I've won against many aimbots in many games because of this, like the guy said, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so he's right. He's absolutely correct. Aimbots are static. Now, the fun thing about RL is it actually can learn. It can do live learning, and it could potentially learn how to defeat your exploitation. Would it be very fast? No, not fast at all. But it can learn. Absolutely, it can. And eventually, it could figure out how to completely block out these little edges that humans can use to beat them. Yeah, but ultimately, like I said, and like this guy agrees, we're pretty far away from like true intelligence where it can just see you do something once and then like figure out how to stop it immediately. It needs like lots of experience in all those situations before it can do it. Teach him how to taunt. Yep. This is another thing. This is another fun one that I sort of thought about in the context of one of my other games. So I play a lot of Melee. I don't know if you guys could tell. I don't know if I made that obvious enough in the stream. But yeah, I play Melee, and there's lots of debate about, tier lists. I don't know what it is about Melee people, but we love tier lists for some reason for character matchups. So it would be cool, like the idea of having just an AI that will endlessly optimize so that you can get a perfectly trained bot A versus perfectly trained bot B and do like a real, quote unquote, unbiased like tier list. That would be cool. Now in practice, there are going to be biases until this thing is running on every frame, or close to it. I mean, there's tricks you can do to get around that, but you know, generally once it's reacting at player speed, which it's pretty far off from, then maybe you could start to say, okay, now this is represented. But there's always going to be a bias. There's always going to be something until we're using actual, you know, human eyeballs and human brains to learn. There's always going to be a difference in how the AI learns to do stuff versus how a human does. Dude, I love TF2 too, and if you want it to live forever, you shouldn't make performing bots with RL. You must instead make imitation learning diffusion model mimicking human moves from images. It won't be better than humans, but at least we'll have forever human-like players on servers. I thought he was going to say something else. I thought he was going to say, if you want it to live forever, stop killing it with your code. But actually, that's a... I mean, he's suggesting something that I talked about before, which is imitation learning as an initial step, and then going, and also training from images. Yeah, could work. Just more work than I'm willing to do at this point. Another pyro person. So you released the source code for this abomination? Granted, it is better than that spin bots, but it will likely be used in the same way eventually. That eventually comes sooner with source code, and these bots are harder to detect since they don't use cheats. Yeah, they're harder to detect, and they're also worse at cheating because they don't use cheats. Like, yeah, I know. That's kind of part of the point. I also disagree. It will likely be used in the same way eventually. I don't think so. I mean, the same way, again, the spin bots are trying to just kill you as quickly as possible. RL can only ever be just as good. Like, it's not going to get better at clicking heads through walls. It can only, like, it's already happening faster than human reaction speed. Why would they use RL to do something worse than they would do all this setup to end up with a result that's at best the same and most likely much worse at doing whatever task they want the bots to do? So I don't buy it. No one tried Pyro? It's certainly an interesting project, and it looks like fun to fight. But none of these AI projects are really impressive to me, considering OpenAI had a way crazier project for Dota 2 back in 2018 with 5 independent AI modules working together with people being pros. Yeah, man. And back in 2019, they were worth $1 billion, and now they're worth $500 billion. But yeah, they, like I mentioned earlier, they trained their shit for 45,000 years. It was like 200 years per day of training. Okay? No wonder, like, I hope their shit got good, bro. I fucking hope so. Because based on what I know about RL, it's totally feasible to train some shit for 45,000 years and have it still be just as shit as it was 44,000 years ago, you know? God, I love AI. I fucking hate AI. This is pretty horrible, I think. I don't want to think about TF2 bots getting even smarter and replicating human players more accurately. Yeah, I mean, I don't even disagree, but unfortunately, that's not an issue with TF2. That is an issue with AI in general. It's gonna get smarter, and they're gonna get better at replicating humans. Long story short, aimbot in an arena map with no cover. TF2 players have been fighting bots similar for years. TF2 will always build a better idiotic strategy that will overcome the perfect bot when taking actual maps into consideration. Well, yeah, I think in a practical sense, yeah. In a theoretical sense, RL could learn actual maps and do fine. And then the irony of this video coming out 3 days ago, we've seen an influx of more bot hosts trying to overload lobbies. Doesn't seem like mere coincidence, even though they're totally different things used for completely different purposes, I guess. Yeah, so we must be getting to the bottom of the comments now because they're all getting more unhinged. Saying it doesn't cheat while saying it needs its own server to be able to read memory is one semantic swindle to start the adventure with. Yeah, man. This guy at baseunderscorethomas in chat has the right idea. He says, "What are you talking about? I literally said it does cheat." This person apparently heard me say it does cheat and interpreted that as it doesn't cheat, which is not what I said. Oh no, here we go. I didn't see this. He doubled down. Saying absolutely no hacks at 104 and calling it a server-side mod was gymnastics to make it sound better than what it is, man. It is absolutely a hack. LOL. What? A hack? Maybe you meant to say it's not an actual hack someone can use, comparing to commercial hacks which are injected client-side, but it came off very wrong. It's not a hack. It's in the fucking developer kit, bro. It's a mod. It's not a hack. Let's hold on. What is a hack? Definition. Hack. Use a computer to gain unauthorized access to data in a system. Aside from informal, the act of computer hacking. So okay, so our best, if Oxford Languages is to be believed, it's about gaining unauthorized access to data in a system. Now tell me, a legal mod that asks for the data, gets authorized access, and then receives that data, you're saying that's a hack. You're saying that's unauthorized? And you think there's no difference between a server-side mod and a hack that pulls data from the client side? And then 4 people upvoted it. Who is upvoting this? Who has the cognitive dissonance? This person is just inventing things to be angry about. Saying I wasn't upfront about calling it a hack. It's not a hack. The definition literally says unauthorized access. It's authorized. That's what makes it a server mod and not a fucking client-side mod. Wow. Every day I'm just astounded by the depth of stupidity people will drop themselves to act like they're winning an online argument. It's so ridiculous. It's fucking anthropology 101, bro. I'm learning so much about humans by doing this job. Oh, here we go. We got another genius. 250. Why would you compute the reward like that? If damage taken equals damage dealt, then 2 times dealt minus taken equals dealt. Yes, but how is that relevant? Instead, you could just have multiple instances of the bot, computing the reward per character and letting it learn from best bots while killing off the worst ones. Okay, so this guy's talking about genetic algorithm. And also this part. Instead, you could just have multiple instances of the bot computing the reward per character. That is what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. It just gets averaged at the end because the algorithm is not, unfortunately, not sophisticated enough to take a per agent reward. It does have to be aggregated in some way. But that's not what he's saying. He's just saying, oh, this is genetic. You should do the genetic thing. And then at the end, I do have to add that I have limited knowledge of machine learning, mostly from stuff I did or watched for fun. Right. you watched a bunch of YouTube, you watched a bunch of Code Bullet, and you think that all AI is genetic evolution, which it's not. I understand this is for entertainment, but why did you release the source code? You realize there's still a massive issue of bots in the game. If you let that source code in the wild, the morons that operate these bots are going to take it and use it. Well, I've already addressed that. I'm not going to keep saying the same thing over and over, but I don't think this helps the morons do anything worse than what they're already doing. It really doesn't. Anything they do is, almost guaranteed to be more fun than just the instant head click, you explode. Actually, yes, it was a super huge mistake because not only it was highly foolish for you to release the source code, you have opened up the door for hackers to take over servers with ease, and you will be banned on Steam for it. Do I even need to say anything? What do I say to that? It was a super huge mistake. It was highly foolish of me. I've opened up the door for hackers. Again, hack means unauthorized access. Nothing my code does is unauthorized in any sense of the word. Take over servers with ease. Not any more ease than they do right now. And I will be banned on Steam for it. When? Does your dad work at Valve? Is he going to ban me? Because last time I checked, everything I'm doing is legal and, well, I won't say ethical. Maybe I'll stop short of ethical, but it's legal. The mods are there. You're allowed to do this. I'm not impacting anybody else's game, and my code cannot directly be used to do that either. So, all right. Minus rep. Oof. That hurts. Great. The next generation of bots are going to be even more insufferable thanks to this dingus. Well, at least we know who to put to the pyre when this gets out of hand. That's right. That's right. I can't wait for this shit to go full French Revolution. People are going to be so mad about intelligent bots that they're going to fucking guillotine me. Again, I think the core assumption of all these comments is the same. It's like the next generation bots are going to be worse. They're not, bro. They're not going to be more insufferable. They're going to be worse at being insufferable, which means they're going to be more sufferable. Yeah, also I did address that in the video. I sure hope you didn't just ruin TF2 forever. I should, you guys know the comment meta? Like Veritasium and those channels where they like put someone's comment in the thumbnail? It'll be like, someone will comment like, oh my god, this needs to be shown in schools and to preschoolers, and everyone needs to see this video, like and subscribe twice so the algorithm knows to send it to everybody. I should just do that for my video. I should change the thumbnail to, I sure hope you didn't just ruin TF2 forever. I bet that would get lots of clicks. Very cool video, but the whole fighting AI segment at the end is a bit dramatic. We don't really have AI yet. Honestly, we're not even close. I agree, assuming AI, by AI you mean artificial intelligence, because yeah, we're not close. But again, AI is a blanket term, so the way people use the phrase AI, yes, we are there, but actual intelligence, no. Literally just namebot. Literally not just namebot. Why though? What's the point in risking this? Cut out the corny ass excuse at the end. Sure, it is cool, good video, but why make the source code public? Seriously, what do you get out of this? Well, it's not public, but eventually, maybe. Best case scenario, you get a GigaChad bot to play with. Yep. I mean, seems like you've got it figured out. Worst case scenario, your favorite game gets ruined and flooded with unkillable bots. Whoop-de-woo. Oh, you mean like what's already happening? Again, people's trauma, it's legit. I'm not faulting you for having trauma, but also let's take a moment and think about what is this reinforcement learning actually going to change. It's not going to make the bots, the LMAO box and griefers. It's not going to make them better at hacking and griefing. It's going to make it worse and more annoying to develop. So why would they do it? It's already very annoying. There's not a lot of room to improve. Like, this doesn't help those bots do anything worse. Anything better than instant death is an improvement, I would say. What the hell is knockoff Temu Mr. Beast talking about? No comment. What is this? Wild that you promote the use of this bot code to ruin TF2 with bots. Okay. Like it wasn't ruined for over a year and had its entire community destroyed because someone got offended their pronouns didn't get used. I assume he's talking about maybe this is some lore I'm not aware of for why people are griefing. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, I mean, this is the same subject that I just talked about. I don't actually think it's gonna help anything get worse. It's gonna. The only thing RL is good at is making tasks worse. Like, it's worse at tasks than just developing something directly. So it's gonna make. So what it's gonna do is gonna make griefer bots worse at griefing, worse at being worse. So could actually be a good thing. Like, imagine, okay, let's say the bot hosters actually are like, whoa, RL, so cool, I saw your video, baseunderscorethomas, and now I'm going to make my griefer bots all reinforcement learning agents. What's the worst case in that scenario? The absolute worst case is that they get just as good at killing people as the instant headshot bots. That's the worst case. It doesn't get any worse at all. Oh yeah, this is definitely the bottom of the comments. Everyone's just being so negative. My guy, no offense, but you are not that cute. Can I get more of the content I clicked for? Less of your face and the corny jokes. Bro. Bro, it's a free video. If you don't like it, you can just not watch it. You can just go. No one's forcing you to watch this content, man. You don't like it, you can leave. The fucking entitlement on some of these internet people is outrageous, bro. Like, I spent 6 months building this shit and putting the video together. I can say whatever the fuck I want. I can be on screen the whole goddamn time if I wanted to. And I will. And I will. And if you don't like my free entertainment, you don't have to watch it. I'm going to get this to run casual. Watch me. Lamalbox can let me forcefully run Lua files. I can feed him all the data he needs. Well, that's a bit ominous for someone to just put in my chat. And I'm going to hide this user from my channel. But before I do, I mean, kind of ironically, this actual fucking... I was about to say a slur. This brain dead idiot who wants to fucking... actually grief. It's kind of funny that he's the one person actually bringing up a good point or not blowing it out of proportion. Like, yeah, I mean, the elephant in the room is, yes, people could use my software to train a reinforcement learning bot and then separately use hacks and kind of shove them together somehow and have a hacked version that does reinforcement learning stuff. Yes, that is a possibility. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, that will never happen. Yeah, it could happen. But what I'm saying is I don't see how that's worse in any way than an instant kill bot. Like, it can only be worse at killing and griefing than the hard-coded bots. And it takes a lot more development to get to work. So again, what is the worst case? Let's say a fucking bot hoster sees this video, falls in love with RL because of me, and they want to make their griefers all reinforcement learning. Well, for them to do that, they have to put a lot of time developing, like learning how to use the training software, putting the time in to actually train the bots to do something, And again, you know, simpler is better. So they're training them to do simple stuff. And at best, at the absolute best, the most optimized reinforcement learning bot in the world could only be exactly as effective as a hard-coded bot. And that's theoretical. Again, I think it's more like you're not going to break the 99% barrier. But yeah, that's the worst case. So I think there's a lot of, even though, of course, I clickbaited the video concept a little bit, like, oh, is my shit going to destroy TF2 forever? Unfortunately, I kind of have to do that to play the clicks game. Unfortunately, anger does sell, and I'm not trying to spread anger throughout the world, but yeah, I think people are a little more gun shy. They kind of get divorced from reality about what this is and what it actually means. Most of the people in the comment, the vast majority of people by far understand what this is and what it does because they watched the video. But yeah, anyway, fuck this guy. Kill yourself. Okay, and that's it. I don't know what all the hate is with AI. There's different types, and the bots from a year ago weren't even AI. They were botnets flooding servers. Indeed. I mean, the issue is, it doesn't matter what the botnets are using, as long as they're doing something bad. The problem more so lies in the botnets. Like, even the most ineffective RL agent is still going to be annoying if you spam a server and it's like, you know, spouting slurs and shit. Like, you know. Yeah, I don't see it. But okay, that's it. That's all the comments. We got through all of them. Yeah, it was kind of fun. I like hamming up the negative people, of course, but no, I mean 99% of people were just very, very chill. In fact, it's a good reminder for me because I tend to harp on the negative in my mind. There were so many people who were like, wow, cool video. Hell yeah, brother. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to load our trained demo man. So this whole time I've been talking about comments. Our demo men have been training in the background. They finished. I think the total time was, 2.5 hours maybe before it finished. So the last thing I'm going to do before I close out on YouTube and go to Twitch, where we will be watching episode 2 of Lego Masters. Before I do that, I'm going to load the trained bots, and we're going to see. In fact, I could fight them. Yeah, let's try that. Why not? So first, let me just load to make sure it's the right policy. If you missed it at the start of the stream, I went through what this is with the command line and how it works. But in order to load a policy, it's pretty simple. You just put in resume path, and then you put in the file path to that trained policy. So this one is, let's find it. Team development, log, TF2 DM, T3, pipes. And so it's this run, and I'm going to use this. So here's our location. I probably could make this a little easier, but whatever. And then the policy we're loading is int checkpoint 24.path, actually 25.path. So this is the file, this is the saved model, and I'm also going to do start time steps 1, just so it skips over the random. Oh no, the server broke. Oh no, oh, that's never happened before. Oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck, oh, it's because I have this highlighted. Yeah, okay, that's why. You can't, fun fact, you can't click in this console or your whole server will hang. So here I'm going to change it to, well, I got an item. Whoa. I'm going to put it back to regular time scale so we can see it a little better. You can see the bots, they're aiming at each other, maybe aiming a little too far down and not super consistent, but they're pointed at each other. Oh no, they are definitely aiming too far down. Interesting. So, that does make sense though. I did kind of figure this could happen. So the way the reward works is the same as in the Frederick video, where they get a reward based on how much damage they do, and then the other major component of the reward is based on how close each projectile gets to the target. Now, for Soldier, that has no issues because the rocket will just blow up on contact. But with Pipes, what they're actually trying to do is the bots are being incentivized to shoot the pill at the ground so that the pill gets as close as possible to the opponent, even though it explodes on a timer. So it's actually it's too much emphasis on getting the projectile close and not enough emphasis on doing damage, basically. But you can see they're still shooting each other. It's just it's interesting watching them learn, because even the slightest perturbation, it sounds dirty when I say that word, even the slightest molestation can totally throw off the training results. So given that this is what the bots are doing, I mean, he's aiming at him when he's close, but then when he's far away, he's aiming at the ground. So he's not going to be very good at fighting, but just for the sake of demonstration, I'll show you guys what that looks like. So just stopping it right now from that last training run. Now, if I want to fight him, first I'll just join. I think blue is what I have to join. And then all I have to do is just run. I can run that same command again, but this time I do, what's the command? It's fight versus 1, I believe. Can't spell. Fight versus 1. I think. Hold on. I have notepads for this so I can remember what the commands are. Or actually, let's just look at the code. Yeah, 5 versus 1. I think I just leave it. Actually, I do need to set one command. Small debug mode 1. And set my name. Interesting. Huh. Anyway, if this doesn't work, don't blame me, because oops. 5 versus 1 expected 1 argument. What did I make the argument? There's a keyword. There's a keyword to be human, but I forgot what it is. Empty. So it's this command, and I put empty. Oh, and it's timescale again. Okay, well, it's not working. I think it's just because it doesn't know where I am. Or something else broke. I don't know, something went wrong. I think it just doesn't know that it's supposed to be aiming at me. Yeah, whatever, you get it. It's also, I realize I would fix this, but it's not that impressive to just show me fighting it. I'd rather fix my MGE mode in the future, and then you guys can fight it and see for yourselves. So whatever, that was a fail. Oh wait, no, I need to be on red, right? I don't know if that'll just work. No, I guess not. I don't know. He's acting completely differently, which means the inputs are probably wrong. Yeah, and I have MG code running still, which shouldn't be. So whatever. I didn't test that part. I'm not surprised it didn't work. But yeah, that concludes the YouTube portion of this stream. Thank you everyone on YouTube who watched. It was more fun than I expected, just yapping. I'm not a huge yapper. I kind of thought we wouldn't have enough to talk about with all the comments while this baby was training. But it turns out we did. And honestly, it was a lot of fun. Thanks to everyone who posted comments. Thanks to everyone who's here live. You guys are cool. And I'm gonna be streaming every week. Do I still have this in chat? No, I don't. If you guys want to read more about what I'm doing this year, I wrote an update on Patreon with more details. And but yeah, the long story short is I will be live every Tuesday trying to make content about TF2 and not have it have to be this huge video every time, because those take a long time to edit and stuff. But yeah, for now, thanks for watching. I'm going to end on YouTube, but I'm going to stay live on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/baseunderscorethomas. And I'm going to take a short break on Twitch, and then we're going to watch Lego Masters, my favorite show. Yep. Let's see, where's my live stream controls? Wow, we got 47 views. Hey, shout out to all the viewers. Holy crap. Hopefully the audio thing worked correctly and I can put this stream up on the main channel. If not, it'll be up on raw_Thomas, which is my VOD channel. But yeah, thanks for watching everyone on YouTube. Again, I'm live on Twitch. If you want to keep hanging out, we're gonna watch some TV and just chill. And yeah. Bye. All right, here we are. We're twitching. I'm twitching my shit right now. Yeah, I guess I keep going. I'm trying to work on my stream stamina. I am going to finish rerunning this though. I do want to have the demo bots continue to train in the background. But here's what I'm gonna do. I don't know if this will actually work, but I'm going to disable the projectile reward bonus. Oh, wait. What? Oh, it's already disabled. Oh. Oh, okay. Well, I thought that was the reason why they're aiming at the ground. Actually, the reason they're aiming at the ground is so that the pills roll and stop near them and explode. That's kind of funny. Okay, well, I was going to disable it, but since it's already disabled, let's enable it and see what happens. Oh, I also, shit, I forgot to, I wanted to put this on YouTube, but I also have a nice little setup here where all I have to do is I press F6 and the code will auto-compile for me and get automatically moved into my plugins folder, which is really great for iteration. Makes it so much easier, and then all I have to do to reload the program is, well, first I have to stop it from erroring by doing that, but then I can just do sm plugins refresh, and then just reload the level and hot swap the code like that. So, okay, I'm just gonna start this next, now that this Oh shit, wait, no, rocket jump bonus. That's the wrong thing. Wait. Oops. That's different. That's like a bonus for hitting a rocket jump in a certain position zone. That's not what I was talking about. It's the where is it? It's in game frame. Use Mindist. That's what I want to disable. Right, okay, it's the second one. Okay, so forget everything I said. It totally was giving a bonus based on distance to the distance from the target to the projectile. And now I have disabled it, and now I will refresh the plugin. Or wait, did I compile it? So now minimum distance projectile for the rocket bonus is disabled. So that means the reward is just based on damage. So now let's continue the demo training with just damage as a reward. Not, now that it generally knows how to aim, now it doesn't need the aim component. Refresh, reload. And yeah, this is what development is like. It's like, I'll try something and then look at the performance and then hypothesize what happened and then usually be wrong about it and then eventually figure out how to do it good. Ooh, I got another item. Nice. That is getting turned to scrap. I can't wait. Just wait for the bots to join again. Let me get this command right in the interim. So we're gonna load the end result of that last demo training run. We're also going to load the buffer, which is basically all of the stored experience of the bot. Now let's see, what did I call that? That'll be this. No, that'll be this one. And so this, hopefully, by loading both the policy and the buffer, this should hopefully allow it to, oh wait, shit, actually I can't load the buffer because it has a different reward. So it's actually going to train it incorrectly if I load the buffer. So never mind, just the policy, which is just the trained network, basically. And it's going to have to learn again the rewards, but they're going to be pretty close, at least. So let's see what that does. I probably won't be streaming at the end, but we'll get some idea of how it's progressing by the end of the LEGO Masters episode.